Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. I've run into GigaBoots and Tears of the Kingdom, and I am not gibbing those beans.
Thanks, Jim Ryan.
Chris Wolfhard.
Ganondorf has spread crack to our communities.
And Dr. Aggro.
Shall I compare thee to a summer gaming event? C+.
Here on GigaBoots.
That's savage, Aggro.
Look, you gotta be straight with them hoes.
He said it with such sternness that I believe Aggro is a real pimp. Look, if we go by my scale I described in the PlayStation Showcase, much lower than that, and I'm faking a phone call to leave the room.
Look, you get about a D, it's a fake phone call, D-. You just hold your hand up to the side of your head to fake the phone call.
I guess we'll allow one more segment, but it's not coming right here.
Okay.
It will be later. I did see a funny moment though. And this isn't like, haha, laugh at this person. It was, man, we overcorrected from where we usually are on this sort of thing. And then because of that, this occurred. I saw someone in the fan Discord who was like, I beat Tears of the Kingdom. Finally, I can listen to last week's Big Thing Tears of the Kingdom segment. I'm like, wow, we barely said anything about anything in that game, I feel like.
Yeah, we definitely didn't talk about anything close to the end of the video game.
No, I had done very little by that point. I'm not getting into that. No,
not now.
I'm not allowed to talk about it without a timer. So instead, we're going to talk about Pick Month. Hey guys, I'm enjoying Pick Month. That is the exact jurisdiction of that statement. It is localized entirely in me. Hey Bob, how's Pick Month going for you?
It's okay. It obviously does not control well at all. I'm hopeful that Pikmin will continue to control better. Because oh my god, Pikmin 1 sure is an RTS made for controller in the year 2001.
Now, I don't want to pretend that me playing this as a kid gave me some massive advantage over you two, because I rented it once and then returned it and never again.
Yeah.
Never again.
Oh,
but
yeah, no, by the end of that, I got used to playing it, but it does not play well. It is not fun to control that. It is controllable.
No, it's like if you had the RTS on controller that was made by the Bunny Must Die creator, where it's like, this shouldn't... There are weird systems I have to get used to about some fundamental assumptions you've made about my movement that I must be aware of, or children are drowning. Or you could just be like Eric and drown some children.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to be holding the C-stick in the opposite direction of your walk, the way you're walking at all times?
Bob, that's the surface. If this is the iceberg meme, that's the surface. Underneath is you need to be pumping the C-stick up and down to get them to do this.
Yeah.
What the fuck? No, like, I was about to break in with, I played StarCraft on the N64. What is this nightmare?
For anyone who hasn't played Pikmin, you have the Pikmin gathered around you. If you do nothing, they'll just sort of follow you in a sort of wide formation. But you push the C-stick in the direction you want them to go relative to you. So ideally, optimistically, if you push up, they go up from you. But different Pikmin run at different speeds.
And there's not a good way to select which Pikmin you're selecting.
And there is no way to tell it, make the Pikmin narrow, we're going over a bridge. So the method I just described, the strat, is to hold down the C-stick away from the direction you're running and then pump it forward. And as they try to catch up and they narrow out a bit, and you keep doing that to flatten them into just this thin arrow that won't accidentally drive a bus full of children off of a ledge into water where they drown. Which is that game. That's the game. I really, really loved our time with Pikmin, and then I hit the final boss, which wasn't bad because I've played Rodeo.
Come on, it took you a lot less time than that.
Yeah, Rodeo set the bar forever. I don't think we're ever going to hit another video game where it's like, they spent an hour and 40 minutes on the final boss. They almost got it on the third try. There is no checkpoint. Die.
Yeah.
I don't know that we will ever hit that tier ever again. I will die before we find a second game as savage as Rodea the Sky Soldier's final boss. Let me be clear. You can fully wipe on Sonic 2 and play through the whole game faster and beat the final boss than I did Rodea with just the final boss. That was hell. And weirdly enough, Eric stuck around for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Eric, one of the benefits that comes with, you know, his tier of pay and involvement with GigaBoots is he always has the eject button.
Right.
So the moment he's not interested in a streamer, he doesn't feel, he just hits it and leaves. He's just gone. Weirdly enough, he stuck around for all of that, which is insane.
He had to know.
That's fair. He was in it to win it at that point. He's like, are you really going to leave an hour and 20 minutes into the final boss fight? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Hey, Chris, don't pay attention to what I'm going to say. Right before the stream, Bob and I were talking about, hey, they need more flavors of Monster. Why don't they start investing in Chunky? You just have Monster Rehab Tea and Lemonade Chunky and Peach Tea Chunky.
We just heat it up and put some corn syrup in there.
It's cornstarch.
Cornstarch, yeah, cornstarch. It just.
It can't even be fruit pulp. It has to be this weird bullshit.
Yeah, I'm
it has to
sorry.
be weird bullshit. Yeah, then you could fill
it
two
needs to be a
coolers.
heat activated compound. I want to pull the ripcord on my can of Monster to activate the heating element.
You've invented Energy Flam.
You want it to be one of those fucking weird, like 1 cup of sake things they sell in Japan, where it has fucking lime
Yes, quick
in
lime.
the base
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
quick lime, and it's like you puncture the water capsule and it fucking heats up.
I don't know. I'm starting to get more invested. I don't know if I want chunky green tea though. I feel like the rest of this idea is pretty green tea oriented, but I don't know. I don't want that chunky. But yeah, look, Monster knows that at this point they're just coming up with more flavors so they can fill out the cooler section.
Yeah.
That's all they care about. That's all they've cared about for at least 5 years now, I feel like. You add chunky, you're good. Yeah.
It's the exact same Chunky label from Campbell's Chunky.
I'm trying to figure out the parent companies here because that might be possible. One moment. If I remember, Coke bought Hanson, which is the name of the original owners of Monster. But Coke is their own thing, so they're not a part of like a food consortium. This is really a Pepsi project.
Right.
I feel like Pepsi might be owned by the same people who own Campbell's Soup. Just talking. It's the same commercial for back in the day for Campbell's Chunky Soup, and it's just like, you better eat your Chunky Monster before you go out on the field tonight. He's like, no. He looks like his mom beats him. Because she's supposed to be really supportive, but now she's demanding he drinks this chunky energy drink.
Jesus.
Yeah. It really totally changes it when you swap out the food in that equation, as it turns out.
It does.
There are vibes with soup that you don't get with other things. Like you can swap it out for durian, and that's just child abuse. Anyway, I love Pikmin. Pikmin has really great vibes. It's got great music. I love the fact that Pikmin is a puzzle game at the core of it. You're trying to solve how to get people to a place, build a bridge, and retrieve the part of your ship, or defeat an enemy type you've never encountered before. I really enjoy that, because if it was all just like that last battle, I would not like that game nearly as much.
I really like playing this. I found out that Olimar is just an idiot boomer.
Oh, it's so good.
It's just like the guy at the store told me this was really good. It was a Star Trek computer and I needed to buy it. And so I did.
It probably is, because I paid a lot for it, right? Yeah, the amount
I feel like
on the ship he
man,
said
you know,
that's good.
Olimar has a giant nose too. I think we need somebody to turn Olimar into Mr. Dink.
Yes,
Yeah, we talked about
we
that.
spent a good bit of that stream being like, this is my radiation detractor. It's very expensive. Chat
Now
started.
I'm just imagining Olimar and Smash being like, My wife left me because I put everything we had into Dogecoin, and then Link just is like, yeah, and hits him.
Yes.
It kind of sucks that Olimar forgot about his daughter for like 5 weeks while stranded on this desert planet.
It was only 2, and technically he probably remembered her when he remembered his whole family.
Which was only 1.5 weeks in.
Yes. That was day 10 or something. He was like, yeah, I miss my wife and my son. 8 days pass. And my whole family. 3 more days pass, and I guess my daughter.
It's going to be real fucked up in Pikmin 2 when you get the last part for the ship again, and it's just a Floridian license plate. I think we have to ask where Olimar was in certain days of January.
I don't know anything about that that other guy from Pikmin, the one who's also in Smash. But I feel like
Louis?
Yeah, I feel like that guy is more sus than Olimar on that front.
I forgot there was a second Pikmin man in Smash.
Pikman?
He's not playable, is he?
I don't know. I didn't play 2 or 3, man.
No, I
You
mean in Smash.
Yeah, he's just a skin.
Okay.
Yeah, you just hit
Yeah,
the
he's
button
like
there.
the Koopalings.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because he's just a guy in a spacesuit, so pretty fungible. They should just swap him out for the guy from Promata. At least he'll make it into a game then.
Oh.
The PlayStation Showcase was strong this week, chat.
Yeah.
Okay. I've said about everything I want to say about Pikmin, other than Pikmin 2 is tomorrow. I'm really excited because most of the Pikmin 1 stream towards the second half, or actually, I'm going to say a lot of it, but it really picked up towards the second half, was people saying, hey, just do this. And I'm like, the controls don't allow that. And they go, oh shit, was that invented in 2? They're like, I don't understand. Tell him to throw the yellow ones. And I'm like, I can't. That's not how this works.
I need to just keep throwing until he decides to pick up the yellow one.
I have to separate them, reselect the yellow ones, and then start throwing them. Yeah. But, Pikmin 2, pretty excited. We're still doing the GameCube version because we need to know what 3 years of development did for that, because it's an 04 game.
Right? There's a lot of time there.
Yeah, back in that day and age, that's forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Ninja Gaiden 1 amount of development time. Maybe slightly less. I feel like Ninja Gaiden 1's like, comes out in 04, starts on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden 1 did have a lot of dev time that we don't know about for sure, I feel like.
So yeah, the reason to do it this way is because when we go to Pikmin 3 and it can use a Wiimote, we feel like we're not cheating it out of the advances it actually brought to the franchise.
Right.
We have to give each one the credit they deserve, okay? That's important. That's it for Pick Month. I played something other than Tears of the Kingdom and Pikmin. Oh yeah, I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. We're on the bad timeline. I want a version of that game that has the moves from 4. And we would have had that if Activision didn't ruin everything.
Yep.
Oh,
They had to clean up their portfolio for this fucking acquisition.
Yeah, good thing.
They had to consolidate down into the shit that people care about.
Yeah, good thing they did that. Now Diablo 4 is a success. Diablo 2 Remastered is a perfect game.
Man, maybe they can use some of the $7 billion they're going to be getting when that deal falls through to bring back Tony Hawk.
That would turn me around a little bit on Activision. If they took their $7 billion golden skateboard to grind into reviving the franchise, that would be incredible. That would be unprecedented for Activision.
I like that we're engaging in cope that is even copier than the Microsoft fans coping that they're going to bring back anything.
I know this isn't going to happen, which is why I'm stating right now, if that does happen, I'll have to just eat crow and be like, maybe Activision isn't the worst. Because they got a bunch of lawsuits and now legally they're not allowed to be the worst.
Right? That's the only way it works with companies. You have to just hit them with these lawsuits.
Sad but true.
Yeah.
Here's a life hack, sue. Here's another life hack, be able to afford to sue. Anyway. I feel like I played something else other than... Oh, we beat Mega Man X4 again.
We did do that.
That's it.
We played
the
Man.
GameCube version. It's so fucking hideous.
Oh, God, yeah. That was like supposed to be a up moment.
Yeah, it was supposed to be, oh, thank God, we're done with Pikmin. We just want to play a quick playthrough, Mega Man X4. And then we played it on the GameCube X collection. So it was the blurriest thing in the fucking world. And we had to dash with... Well, it wanted us to dash with the X button, which is on the right. But then we reset it to Z, which is also bad.
Yeah, because it turned out the Z button. It's not a good button.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible button. It's possibly the worst button. You know, once again, I had that moment of no matter how bad the thing is, objectively speaking, someone will come out of the woodwork at random to go, it's fine. It's the same. It's just as good.
Yeah.
And that person did materialize on Twitter.
I feel like there was someone in chat like that, too.
This person didn't follow me, so I don't know.
Okay.
I doubt they came into chat afterward, because then it would have flagged them with first-time chatter and a bunch of stuff like that. But maybe someone in chat was like, it's fine. I feel like the closest we got to that was someone being like, this is how I first played X games. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. It's so fucking blurry and awful. See, for people who don't know, that's a really rare version of that. At one point, it sold for $100. And there's the PS2 version, which was not as valuable, that is way better looking. It is sharp as hell. Depending on the quality cable you have plugged in, it is unbelievably sharp. But yeah, anyways, that's it. Bob?
We also played Nightshade on stream for my birthday.
Oh, that's true. It was Bob's birthday. None of you said hi. Actually, hundreds of you said hi. So thank you for wishing Bob a happy birthday.
Yes, thank you for everyone for coming out on Monday.
By the way, Bob, I know this is very late, but happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
For anyone who thinks this is a bit, it's not. I didn't say it to him once that day. I'm like, no. I'm gonna have to read other people saying it, so I'm gonna say it 0 times. This will emotionally destroy Bob and make him dependent on me. So we played Nightshade. Bob, you want to talk about Nightshade?
Nightshade is a sequel to Shinobi PS2.
It is on the PS2.
It is also on the PS2.
We said that one time in it, and someone went, wait, this isn't a PS2 game? We're like, no, we're just clarifying which Shinobi it's a sequel to.
Yes, because that game is just called Shinobi. It's on the PS2.
Yes. Shinobi on PS2 is an amazing game.
It really is.
If you fix the camera, that might be one of the greatest video games ever made, in my opinion, because it has very good structures and bones and level layouts and all sorts of things. The only thing that's really just off about it is the camera.
Yeah. And the music's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's... Shinobi PS2 is a great game. This is not a good follow-up to it at all.
Let's say you're not a weeb, but you like good music. Go listen to the Shinobi PS2 soundtrack and skip maybe 2 tracks if you're really just like, oh, this sounds extra Japan. Get to the first level theme. That is some of the best fucking techno ever. Really fucking good game. Let's talk about Nightshade, though.
Yeah, Nightshade is a really poor imitation of it, which seems to miss the point of it entirely and be like, instead of large structured level to go through, it'll often just be like, lock you in a room, fight enemies in here forever. The hit detection doesn't work well on your main attack. And they've added armor to flying enemies, which means you need to like hit them with a flying kick before you can even hit them regularly.
And your reach sucks. So a lot of times you'll jump in the air, kick them to stop them from blocking, and then you'll just whiff.
Yeah. Yeah, because your kick has actually got longer range than your sword hit.
Because you don't have full-size swords. You have, like, almost katana length. Like, it's really... Or I said katana. Side length.
Yeah, they're really tiny. And she has, like,
She does have a giant sword on her back.
Yeah, that's what she uses for most of her attacks, which is... It's like a half-length sword.
Yeah.
And then she has 2 daggers. The daggers basically you don't even use them. Like, you can. Yeah. There's no motivation to. Yeah, not good, man. Then after you beat the game, you unlock the protagonist from Shinobi PS2, Hotsuma, and it's just a better game.
Yeah,
he actually does way more damage, which makes that game just make more sense.
And his reach is reasonable.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have a midair kick to midair undefend the enemies.
Yes.
So then the differences boil down to, plot, soundtrack, and levels. And while all three of those are resoundingly worse than Shinobi, at least playing as Hotsuma fixes part of that. You know, back in the day, I always made the argument of like, well, Shinobi is like what a modern day platformer would be, because we had so many action platformers on the NES that were a 2D equivalent of what you're basically doing in Shinobi on PS2.
Right.
So part of me was like, it's like an action platformer, and this is kind of where the genre should go forward. And then that game didn't do well enough, and the director got out of games entirely.
Yep.
That game in a much better timeline is the Kill Switch. So 7th Gen is a bunch of cool 3D action platformers. Bunch of people look at Shinobi and go, damn, this is like the coolest video game ever. The reason this is relevant to discuss Nightshade, though, is that the level design is a lot more platformery in that. You're running on walls to go over kill pits to get to platforms on that to do things to unlock the next area. In Nightshade, it's just combat room after combat room after. Sometimes a level is just you on top of a vehicle and it's a combat room the whole time.
Yeah, there's 2 levels like that, and the second one of them is the worst level in the game, pretty much. Because
technically there are 3, because the opening one is 1 too.
Yeah, there's also the trucks. I forgot about the trucks. I remember the opening, the boats.
Yeah, so there's planes, trucks, and planes, trains, and automobiles. And the boat one's terrible.
The boat one is terrible because everything around it, like the boats have like boat-shaped geometry that's not easy to stand on.
The boats are boat-shaped. Hyphen GigaBoots reviewing Nightshade.
And there's also a level where there's like, here's a shipping yard. It's like
it reminded me of Soul Hackers 2 in that way.
Like I was just like, okay, well, most levels in the game are just about going through a level and progressing. This is just you are locked in the shipyard.
Find where we will spawn all the enemies and kill them.
Yes, until the boss shows up. It's like,
what was the plot for this even? There was a moment where I just went, so wait, what was that level supposed to be doing?
Yeah,
in the story.
Yeah,
because at the end of that level, you got the call, and they're like, "Hey, they're doing this thing. Stop what you're doing and go do that." I'm like, "What were we doing though?"
We were getting a piece of the Akujiki because apparently it was in the shipping yard, and we were supposed to be looking for it, but that didn't really come across in the level design at all. It's just like, well, eventually the monsters that had it showed up. We didn't really do anything to cause that, but it did.
So there's that level. You know, the levels are terrible, and then there's the plot. Where Shinobi on PS2 has a really awesome plot that's about tragic tones of like your Oboro clan has been resurrected by evil magic, and you have to put their souls to rest,
right,
by eating them with the Akujiki. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Also, it's got some real Kamen Rider shit going on and other shit. It's real cool. Really, really cool thing. Unlike Nightshade.
Yeah,
Nightshade's pretty bad.
Nightshade is you're apparently a government ninja, which is never really delved too far into, other than she's really upset that she has to listen to everything on the phone.
Yeah, real Metroid Other M vibes.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah. It is that.
If you've played Metroid Other M, imagine you were a ninja instead of a blonde lady.
I have unlocked your ability to use shuriken.
At least there isn't that. There isn't that element.
I feel like that might improve the game. I don't know. There's a possibility that we would get abilities that were just worse versions of Shinobis.
Yeah, it is so strange that it feels like they've made the game harder in every way except that your health is no longer draining at all times.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, to balance that, your attacks don't do even like a third as much damage, and you have to use supercharged special attacks to even hit a lot of the enemies.
Yeah, like bosses especially.
Yeah, bosses feel like you basically can't do damage to them unless you hit them with a charged up super, which
requires a magic meter, which requires killing things to build the meter.
No, if it were just killing things to build a meter, that'd be okay. It requires finding random drops.
Right. But those random drops can come from enemies, right? Or
I don't think they ever did.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed to be just in random boxes. It may be getting a high taint, maybe.
And high taint. Tate. Because you kill them and then they all die in one cool cutscene. It's very neat.
Right.
What was it? Math and chat just reminded me, I bet a lot of other people listening to this are like, it can't be as bad as Other M. No, she even has the shitty catchphrase that's not good at even once.
Yeah.
Where she just goes, it just isn't my day.
Yeah.
I just slayed my former master, Shinobi master. It just isn't my day.
It's rough.
It's really, really rough. That stream was fun though. I enjoyed it.
No, I think it's interesting to go through that, and I think that we had a good time.
Yeah.
I did consider switch to the easy mode for the final boss.
Yeah, because when Shinobi on PS2 is a giant piece of shit difficult thing for the final boss, it's like kind of neat almost.
Right, it feels earned.
Oh, and this does it. It's just like, dude, you don't earn this. The weirdest part is, in my opinion, I think this is the thing I spent most of the stream thinking about, is I feel like they tried to make Nightshade hornier than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, it's a lady now, so it's sexy. And I'm like, I'm sorry, these moves just don't step to Hotsuma's dances when he does these kills. I feel like this is distinctly backpedaling on the sexiness. It's real depressing here.
I did find it really funny that one of her air finishers is like, she's just doing the pose from the cover of Bayonetta 2.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is really direct for that.
Yeah, there is a lot of Bayonetta 2 energy in this, weirdly enough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I guess that's all I got to say about Nightshade.
I said everything I did, including how it's less sexy.
Right.
I'm sorry, she's dripless compared to Hotsuma.
I mean,
that's just
Hotsuma's
true.
one of the coolest / sexiest outfits in gaming.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
It's true. That man's ready to go. He's down for tags you haven't even heard of. Did you play anything else, Bob?
I also played the Wonderful 101 DLC that came out in the last week.
You're brave. Even I looked at that and was like, I really like that game, but no, this is obviously total dog shit.
Bob, I looked over.
Uh-huh.
And I realized I need to ask you an important question that you wouldn't think you would need to ask about this, okay?
Okay.
What the hell is that game?
Okay.
Because it is not Wonderful 101.
Absolutely not. It's set in the Wonderful 101 universe. It's called The Wonderful One, who is Luca from that universe, who's like little kid Luca in the class from taught by Red, the main character of Wonderful 101.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But it is his training in VR. So it's him in a side-scrolling platformer, twin-stick shooter. It's rough.
All right.
I just said it was a twin-stick shooter. They didn't arrange the buttons right at all, because you have to use the right analog stick to aim and shoot. But also they put stuff like jump on the the face buttons, and you don't have fully customizable controls. So all you get to do is choose between having jump on the face button or having dash on the face button. It's like, there are enough buttons here. Just put those in L1 and R1.
Right. This isn't difficult. No. This is insane.
Yeah. I don't understand. All the levels look really like easily made. Let's just say it feels like it's made out of Wonderful 101 assets in a 2D plane, and everything's clearly broken up into little blocks like you could make in a character, like a level creator, if there were such a thing.
So it looks like those extra challenge levels that were in Mighty Number 9. You remember? It has a cyberspace background and a bunch of blocks.
No, it's not like that. It doesn't have a cyberspace aesthetic, even though it is in VR.
Oh, okay.
It has a just generic, this is the world from Wonderful 101. So a lot of reused assets sort of stuff, not typical grid.
You ever see a car accident almost happen and you're just like, oh, that was close. Oh my God. That was just now, because I was going to say, well, then Bob, that means if you don't remember it, we have to go straight through the challenge missions in Mighty Number 9.
No, we don't. We never have to do that. No one ever wants to see that.
All right. None of you want to see that. I'm unrelated making a poll.
You have 3 different shot types you can switch between. There's like one where the bullets bounce around the room, one where it does a wave of shots, and one where it's just straight line, just regular bullets. And those are used for various things, like sometimes there'll be a locked door that needs to hit with a certain type of laser.
Now, are these modes you can be in, or you just easily change shot type with a button?
You just swap shot types, like L2 and R2, just swaps between them.
So kind of like if you had every shot type in a Gunstar?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Weirdly, you can't change shot type if you're being hit. So it just comes off as like, why I hit the button, why didn't he switch while I'm on the ground? It's like, no, he has to be fully ready to shoot to switch shot types, which is just bizarre.
Yeah, I really love when games do that, when I think the button isn't working, but there's some circumstance of you dropped an inch, so you were in midair for a frame.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
One of those moments.
It's got a lot of story, actually, but it's all told basically with Luca talking to this droid who's running the VR. The droid talks and R2-D2 beeps.
Yeah.
So it auto-progresses the text, and you're having to read half of the conversation.
I was hearing that from your headphones from across the room, and it sounded like a bird chirping.
And that I'm okay with that sometimes, but that is like 100% of the dialogue in your game. Come up with something else.
And there's clearly a lot because of how often I heard it.
Yeah, like I think I watched more cutscene, which is just two people talking to each other, not really a cutscene. I watched more of that than I played game. I played through the entire DLC, which is only, I guess it's part 1. I don't know how many part's gonna do. It's like, I guess it was 6 stages long. The stages are very short. Not recommended. I was pretty disappointed. I don't really have much else to say. The bosses were all just damaged, spongy bosses you fought in from Wonderful 101, but now you have to just run around them, shooting them with this twin-stick controls that feel bad. And I guess you also build up a meter where you get to summon the other wonderful ones. So you can do like, okay, I summon Red, and he does one punch that clears all the whole screen, which don't want to give people the wrong impression. It puts up a picture of them on screen, and then all the damage is done. Like it's
so like one of those trading card game RPGs where it's just like, I played this. Here's a PNG of this.
Yes.
For anyone who didn't follow this was a goal on their Kickstarter to make this DLC, right?
Yeah.
This was a stretch goal.
Yeah, either that or just one of the things in the base level of it. Just like, we really want to do this, so it's in the Kickstarter in some way.
This feels insane because this port happened last year?
More than that. I think the part happened in 2020.
No way.
Yeah, because I could have sworn that I backed it wall.
It was a long fucking time ago.
Yeah, I think I was working at GameStop when I backed this. I think.
Yeah, it came out. Let's check. Let's just check worker period.
Chat saying 2020. Oh God. Jesus.
Yep. May 2020.
And what we have now is 6 really shoddily put together levels. And there's the promise of more. Because at the end of this, he gets trapped in the VR. And you have to fight some enemy that I'm supposed to remember from Wonderful 101, who's apparently didn't die but went into VR space instead. I don't remember this guy at all, though. I can't even remember his name right now.
What does he look like?
He's like, he looks kind of like a UFO, like he's all silver.
I was going to play the spoiler
side.
sound, but then I was like, the only people who care about Wonderful 101 already played and beat
was he
it.
like a fly?
I don't remember.
People are saying he's the fly guy.
Okay,
He's
I
a
believe
tiny
you.
big man named Wana.
Maybe.
I don't know. These are the words in
I
chat.
don't fucking
That's it.
know.
Oh, tiny bug man. Okay. All right. Anyway, hey Bob.
Hey,
This sounds fucking terrible.
it was pretty darn bad. I was sad. But I'm also tempted to go play Wonderful 101 because I apparently never even booted the PlayStation version after I bought it. Because it didn't have a save file or anything that it downloaded.
Right.
And it was telling me that I can use the touchpad to do the drawing lines. I was very curious how that would go.
How did that go?
I didn't try it, so I might try it next week.
Oh, okay.
At the time I was done playing this, I was very tired of it. I was very much like, I want to go do anything else.
Well, Bob, there's the capacity for us to just do a Wonderful 101 playthrough as a stream. We've had a Wonderful 101 Podlord forever. I feel like you know, there are lots of people in chat who never want to play that fucking game who might want to see the funny ha-has in it.
That's fair. The best part of that game is all the cutscenes and the fun things they do with the QTEs and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I get it.
This has nothing to do with me. It's all about chat. I definitely am not just describing how I feel about this game, wanting to see the funny ha-has and not
Yeah, how
having to
long
buy
is
it.
like? I feel like
I
it's
don't
way
know.
too long, but it might be
It's
like not too
pretty
long for
long.
us, but it would be a long stream.
For a normal fucking person.
It'd be like 11
think
to
it's like-
15.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
16 and a half hours, according to howlongtobeat.com.
You know, I'm just
Seemingly.
such a wonderful one-on-one professional, though.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
I am
you
not.
played an action game ever, so yeah.
The completionist time for Wonderful 101 is 81 and a half hours.
That checks out. There is a psychotic amount of hidden content.
That still seems way.
Maybe they count getting S rank on every single level, like
might.
every
Or
single
maybe, or they're
segment.
counting like I think there's like bottle cap figures or some shit that you get from weird shit, and it's like get every single fucking one of those.
People kept being like, "You gonna play Overlord? You gonna play this other Pikmin like?" And it's really funny to just be like, "No, we're gonna play Wonderful 101. That's our stretch goal.
The ultimate evolution of Pikmin.
That's our stretch goal for Pikmin." This was not intentional.
The
I only
Gollum
realized
Wonderful
it.
101 combo pack.
You're right. Good lord. Sorry about the DLC.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
It's neat to return to the world of Wonderful 101 with actual voice acting, getting to interact with Luca.
Yeah,
I played
sure
enough of that
fucking
game to realize how
excited
much
for
I don't want that.
Luca.
Yeah, your favorite character.
It is fun that he's just the obviously kid version of Bayonetta Luca because he even's got the same scarf and stuff. But it's like that's not enough to sell me on a whole game focused on him, guys. I'm sorry.
No.
But that's everything I played. Other than, Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay, I'm just going to disassociate for a second and double check my brain that I didn't play anything else that I forgot about. I talked about Les Mills body combat last week,
You did.
so I'm good on that. I bought Beat Saber because they announced for a single second on screen, text only, that Beat Saber was on PSVR 2. And I fucking lost it because the way I found out was Twitter later. It's like, Sony, maybe you should have had them put larger text for longer about the fact this is now coming out on PSVR 2. Maybe.
Yeah, your stealth drop should probably be a stealth drop that's actually noticeable.
Right, yeah.
It shouldn't be this
Two
stealth.
stealth.
Yeah, two stealth.
Yeah. See, we want a shadow drop, not a stealth drop, right? We don't want to hear about it on the news the next day that you bombed us with a video game yesterday. We want it to come out of nowhere.
Right.
There's a difference. But yeah. It was in the PSVR 2. It was implied. It was not implied that it was out that day.
Yeah, it was on screen for a single second.
I went back and counted because I was like, when stuff like that happens, like we don't, like I'm going to try to fix our setup, but we aren't listening to it through the headphones.
Mm-hmm.
So like sometimes things will slip past, like David fucking Hayter voicing a character somehow.
Yeah.
Because this is not an ideal setup sound-wise, like in the least. So I was like, yeah, I must have just not been looking at the screen and I couldn't hear it. Then I go back to the train. It was 1 second. That's insane. Because last we heard, they were like, Beat Saber, it's coming sometime. Anyways,
I
it's
saw
out.
it first time. Skill issue.
Oh, okay. How many streams were you managing at that moment?
I was huddled over my phone, hiding from my manager at the time.
I thought you were going to be like, well, I was peeing. So that's one stream. Yeah, that's okay. Then that's going to do it. We're going to push off the Tears of the Kingdom talk a little bit longer. Hey, Aggro.
Hey,
You've been playing anything other than Tears of the Kingdom?
I mean, I've been longingly looking over at Bolt Gun while playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Hey, Chris, you have played some games.
Yes, I have. I decided to begin the journey of really settling the question: is Inti Creates good? Because we beat up on them all the time, and I'm like, well, I need to give them a fair shake by playing every single one of their games except the Galgun ones, because I wanted to be fair, and I didn't want to just be like, okay, here's three in the dud column instantly.
That's their
Also,
company mascots. I don't know what you're talking about.
Also, I'm worried that Twitch might take offense. They aren't explicitly banned, but Twitch can at any time just decide to go, no, you should have known.
I could be completely wrong on this, but I think one of the Galguns is banned.
You play it entirely true with the mosaic filter on. Just the whole screen has like pixelated like it's porn.
Yeah, we were talking about doing that because you've seen what I can do with typing in manual resolutions for the capture card. I'm like, make it 240p.
Yeah, it would be hilarious to be like, yeah, I've made it look way worse than it is actually.
Wow, that must have been really hard. It was.
So there's 22 games on the list. I got 5 of them out of the way.
Wow.
I got the whole Mega Man Zero series out of the way, and Mighty Number 9. Mighty Number 9 is, of course, still fucking terrible.
Shock.
Whoa.
Mega Man Zero is... I don't know. I thought about it a lot. And it feels like, first of all, under no circumstances should you play that series in any way other than the collection they put out.
What, so you can save state and stuff?
You cannot save state.
Okay.
They put in manual save state points as checkpoints that are physical objects in the level you have to touch.
Oh, that completely changes that game.
Because I know in Mega Man Zero 1, it has the insane thing of like, you game over, that mission's now gone.
Yeah.
You now have to do a different mission that doesn't give you the same thing.
Yep.
And then I think 02 is like, there's no mid-level checkpoint. Do the whole fucking level over again, and that includes the boss. There's no pre-boss checkpoint. Fucking get good.
Yeah.
And this fixes those.
Man, they sure are just psychotic.
Yeah, my ultimate judgment is like, I understand that they probably wanted to be more distinct from the X series.
That's not the way to do it.
Our car needs to be different. Pulls out an axe.
Every single new mechanic they added is bad. Like everything, every way they try to be different is bad. At least the cyber elves became better in 3 and 4 when they're like, oh, it's really stupid. We made an entire system that you're never supposed to look at all.
Yeah, because they punish you for using them.
Right.
And in I don't even know if they're in 1, but in 2 and 3, your ranking determines whether or not you get a special move after you beat the boss. Luckily, those moves don't really matter. I got all of them in 4 and a couple of them in 3, or even most of them in 3, and I'm like, I'm barely using these because I can charge my Saber Slash and I can charge my Buster, and those do just fine. I mean, you can find videos of people flossing on these bosses and doing some seamless combo to delete their entire health bar instantly, and I'm like, okay, but I'm not going to learn to do that. I'm trying to beat the game.
Right.
Interesting thing, though, about this whole franchise, there's not a single combat room.
Huh.
So I'm excited to see when the combat room disease sets in. Like when they decide they need to start putting those into their games.
I bet it starts with ZX. I bet it's exactly slightly more expensive assets. The moment it gets slightly more expensive to make environments, they're like, oh, fuck this.
That would make no sense because ZX and ZX Advent are both like twice as long as any Zero game.
Then it would make perfect sense because they're twice as long due to combat rooms.
Right.
03 is a big fucking game. It has 12 levels before any of the bonus shit. It has 12 fucking bosses. Like Mega Man style bosses.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Story-wise, I don't really have much to say. As you get further into the series, they sure have more text.
Yeah, we experienced that much by playing the first hour of each, and by the time we hit the last game, we're like, holy shit.
The Zero franchise sure is a franchise of Keiji Inafune being unbelievably fucking butthurt.
How do you mean?
So, okay, my spoilers for a game that came out 21 years ago. The villain of Mega Man Zero 1 is a copy of X. The world is all devastated. They need a utopia for humans to live in. So, the main human character, Dr. CL, the girl, makes a copy of X who becomes a weird fascist. At some point, that was like early into through most of development, that was just supposed to be X.
Yeah.
And then Inti Creates was like, we'd like to not piss off everybody who would conceivably want to buy our game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What a concept.
But what if Mega Man bad guy? Am I good writer now? What if Superman bad guy?
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's not even that, Bob. It's literally just Keiji Inafune going, I'm still fucking mad. They told me the Zero design couldn't be X. Like, that's what it is. And that, like, energy progresses through every fucking game X is in of the Zero games, because he's not in 4.
Cool.
The Zero games have really cool boss fights.
Okay.
Those were the best parts of those games, where I was, like, downloading the patterns and learning all of that. There sure isn't a single good level in any of those games.
Oh my god.
Good, like, there's none that stand out as like, okay, this level had this cool part. It's all just, yeah, this is pretty basic.
Yeah.
And when it isn't basic, it's just bad.
The further I played in the Zero games, the more I was like, hey, these seem visually subpar or par for the course. Like, they're okay for Game Boy Advance. And they're not as heinous as the first 2 levels of 01, so I'll take it.
It's something that happened a lot from what I played of the Zero games, is finding a bunch of stuff that felt like blind jumps for harder levels of just like, I'm jumping in, there's no way I can know what it is because of, there's Game Boy Advance, very limited screen space.
Yeah.
Was that an issue throughout this whole series?
Mostly in 1.
Okay.
There's one specific level in 1 which was so egregious that when I raided Vox after beating it, she brought up that part immediately.
Yep.
She's like, did you like this? Did you like this specific? Not only just one level, one screen of that level, one specific screen.
When you know, you know.
Yes.
Because there's a part where construction robots are carrying bundles of wood, and you have to stand on the bundle of wood and ride it. And there's an item that you want up on a ledge above it, so you jump up, you wall jump, very standard Mega Man X stuff. You can now no longer see the wood. You can no longer see these robots under you. You have to wall jump on the side of this tiny ledge to see just low enough to know when one's coming. In the final boss of 01 also has a fucking screen problem like this, because the boss has the boss is center platform, 2 things on each side that go up and down that you can wall jump on. The boss has an attack where he shoots a sweeping laser that covers the whole center platform, and then fire pops up after it. That fire lasts for fucking ever. It lasts so fucking long, and you can't see it if you're on the fucking things you're supposed to be wall jumping on to stay safe. And it stays so long, it took me like 18 tries to download how long it actually lasted.
Great.
Because it's so long, it makes no sense. It just makes no sense.
I just to be clear, because I have never seen this boss fight, I'm just imagining the Dracula XX, which is the Super Nintendo game version of the Dracula fight, where it's just these pillars and death, and he lights one of them up. And you're just like, that's fine. Fuck me, I guess.
Unfortunate downside of the way they did the checkpoints in this collection is that you cannot skip cutscenes you've seen before in 0, 1, and 2. In 3 and 4, they just fucking let you. But in 0, 1, and 2, they're like, if you haven't seen it before, you can't skip it. And since it's loading this weird save state, they bolted onto it.
Right.
You have to watch the cutscene every time you die.
I have a very weird and specific question to ask you, Chris. the context you have to think about Mega Man Zero in, to some extent, is that it is the successor to the Mega Mans on Game Boy. Would you say Zero is flat out a radically better game than those?
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
We all know this is the sequel to Mega Man X5 and X6.
It's funny that Cyber Elves is an unbelievably stupid name, and then they sort of go into what they are, and I'm like, oh, that's way less fucking stupid than their name. It brought some things to the Mega Man franchise, like in 03 they reveal, like the big, huge animal-looking Reploids, they can condense themselves down into like human shapes. So you don't go to the grocery store and see Blizzard Buffalo just walking around. Although now I'm scared that Kubo played 03 because their human forms all wear white outfits that look exactly like the Arrancar. And then they transform into big animal things.
This is too close to call from here. We're gonna have to get the forensics team on figuring out which game
we need the timeline on this.
Oh, I checked that. I checked it during the stream. 03 came out in 2004, I think.
Okay.
And the Espada didn't show up until like 2006.
Clearly, they're both getting inspired by something else, right?
That's usually what I default to, but it's really funny to pretend.
Can't wait for the Mega Man Zero versus Bleach podcast.
But yeah, I could see myself playing 3 or 4 again. I can't really because at least in those you can use the Cyber Elves. Because they made sane systems. The scoring isn't as egregious. But I really did like the boss fights. Like those were the best part by a lot. It was a lot of fun, especially like the final boss of 04. I'm like, okay, I can only hit him when he opens like his chest plate. So there were times where I would jump over the thing he shoots out, shoot him with a charge buster shot, and because of the way the buttons are, you can charge. You have 2 weapons equipped at a time. You have you can have a main weapon and a sub weapon. So you can charge the buster and the saber at the same time separately. So I could jump, shoot him, jump, hit him with the charged saber, and then as I was doing that, I charged the buster again, and as I had to jump back over the thing that came back, I could get him a 3rd time, and it felt really good to hit him 3 times in one little frame, in one small frame, and deal an entire health bar of damage.
This sort of thing as a really cool idea of like making Mega Man combat more aggressive makes me a little sad that there's no world in which we got a new Zero, because Inti Create's relationship with Capcom is so rock bottom.
Yeah, it seems to be totally gone. They ripped their names out of 9 and 10 on the on the Legacy Collection, allegedly.
I mean,
I didn't go physically check, but people told me.
Yeah, the Keiji Inafune connection is enough for Capcom to just be like, no. But also, there's to some extent the notion that, like, do you think NT could make a Mega Man 11 scale Zero game? And I don't think NT could.
I don't think they could.
So.
I think they could make a Mega Man Zero game on the scale of Gunvolt 3.
Yeah,
I think they could take advantage of having a full screen.
Yeah, and have,
because it really feels like they never
are...
got fully used to the screen crunch.
Yeah, for sure. I just think it would be really neat.
Yeah,
it's wild to me that it's wild to me that they never just was like, we're gonna make a fucking boss rush game.
Huh?
Not everyone's brave enough.
I need to go see what the Z Chaser mode in that collection is, because I wonder if there's a boss rush function of it, because that would be one of the things I would want. I would even go back to that for 1 and 2.
Is on that collection, is there a way to play like uncensored but in English? So all the stuff bleeds.
Bob wants blood.
It's important.
No, I do not believe so.
Come on.
So they either bleed or you get to read the plot. Which one are you more interested in, Bob?
It's anti-create plot. I don't really want to read it, but I hear it's important.
You might want to know where things need you to go.
It's so generic. Like, I can't even criticize the plot, because it's like, I honestly wonder if like these weren't the 2 experiments, because Keiji Inafune had his fucking reign of terror at this time. So I'm wondering if it wasn't like, we're gonna launch these 2 Mega Man franchises on Game Boy Advance, and they're both gonna be these transmedia experiences, and then Zero didn't do good enough to have an anime, but Battle Network did.
It's weird because like Battle Network is engineered from the ground up to be Pokemon like.
Right.
And Zero isn't, so I don't know if the transmedia event was ever planned.
Zero is structured so much like a weird anime. Like in 04, the villain is like, you walk into a room and the 8 bosses are standing there.
I mean,
and you get a literal art piece of them all posing like fucking Espada and talking about how they're about to fight you.
I mean, Inti loves chuny bullshit, but like, I don't think that's like, I don't know that Capcom ever stepped into making Mega Man Zero and thinking this too will be a transmedia event. Because as crazy as Inafune's shit got, I don't think even Capcom would have backed him on 2 simultaneous Mega Man transmedia events on the same platform.
Yeah, but that time was when Capcom was doing a bunch of that shit. Like they did that horrible Beautiful Joe anime. They did the Devil May Cry one.
That was a few years later, but yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, because Devil May Cry gets an anime after it's what, 2? When did Devil May Cry get its anime?
The anime came out after 3.
So there you go. These are all pretty late that gen then. Because Beautiful Joe didn't even come out until like 2004, 2003.
Yeah.
So you had like 3 years or 2 years of Zero games and stuff. Whereas Battle Network, that's probably it. Battle Network's success as an IP made them think they could make it anime for these other things and that would juice their sales. Which it totally fucking didn't. Like, no one watched the Beautiful Joe anime. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nobody. I tried.
I tried to.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, this is really fucking bad.
I really like Beautiful Joe 1. And then I tried to watch the anime and I'm like, dude, there's nothing here. Sorry. Even the Devil May Cry anime has more neurons firing because it's bad in a way that's fascinating.
But yeah, I'll never play 1 or 2 again. I might play 3 or 4 again at some point, or a boss rush mode. If a boss rush mode is in that Z Chaser thing, that would be what I would play. Because I have no urge to experience the stories of 3 or 4 again.
Yeah.
Although there is one really raw moment in 4 at the end of 4. And I'm probably not going to just roll right into ZX. I want to give it more of a chance and just play the same game 12 times in a row. These are all like from Zero to Gunvolt are all very obviously the similar things.
At least ZX, it's a Metroidvania now, so you get to experience them trying to do that.
That's true. It's a little different.
I think I'll probably take a detour and go look at no, I'm sorry, it's not called Mighty Gunvolt anymore. It's called Gal Gunvolt now because they don't want to be associated with Mighty Number 9 anymore.
Wow.
Wait, well, wow, is Mighty Gunvolt Burst still called that?
That's
then?
Gal Gunvolt. That's Gal Gunvolt Burst now.
What?
I don't know when they changed that, but they did.
I need to check my Steam library.
Right? It's hilarious.
Oh, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, I bet playing through all of ZX at once will make it easier, because I know that I just got lost and it was like, it's impossible. I can't ever finish this.
They seemingly did not change it on Steam, but it is Gal Gunvolt Burst on PSN.
Weird. Well, I appreciate them not inserting Gal Gun into the title of a game I own. I really appreciate that. Yeah, because Mighty Gunvolt is seemingly normal, and I don't actually... I guess Mighty Gunvolt Burst was for sale on the Switch, and that's where I got that.
Huh.
So there we go. All right.
Yeah, the PC is the only place you can play Mighty Gunvolt other than the fucking 3DS. And I think they released it on PS4 in Japan only.
Really?
Because it is not like a full game. It's just this tiny little bullshit they made.
No, Mighty Gunvolt...
And then Burst is the real one.
Yeah, okay. Mighty Gunvolt sucks. Mighty Gunvolt Burst is a gimmicky, like, here are some ideas for a 2D platformer that unhinge it. And I'm like, oh, that's neat. You did a thing I enjoy here. Because it's like, I want my shot to be 5 times the size of my character and home in on enemies. It's like, this sure isn't a normal Mega Man game at all anymore.
Yeah, I know that made me just could be completely disinterested like immediately, and I beat one level and was like, yeah, I don't need to play this ever again.
Yeah, I beat that game. I thought that was neat. The first one was boring as shit because it's just really bad Mega Man, which Inti already made.
Right?
Which game is Dan slamming? Who knows? Find it out in the comments. Anyway.
But yeah, I remember liking ZX Advent, even if I think that game's probably going to be way too fucking long for what it is. I got filtered by ZX the original instantly because I'm like, so I don't know where to go, and these are mostly just really long like highways with nothing on them.
Yep.
I'm gonna stop. But I'll probably pop around and maybe knock the two Curse of the Moons out first.
I need to beat the second one someday, even if I don't like you need the boss
sucks.
with the antidote.
You are playing the Blaster Master games for this, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, of course, for the
Blaster Master
podcast.
Zero games.
Because we're doing the Blaster Master 3 spoiler cast, of course. It just makes sense to do that a year late.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, Curse of the Moon 1 sure is cool. I bet you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I played it a bunch of times, but I remember being like, yeah, this is probably their best game.
Yeah, I was relatively positive on it.
All they had to do was stay really, really strictly to being Castlevania 3.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be their better performances is when they're directly emulating some other franchise.
Yes, and the game feel still doesn't match up in a few different ways, but they have other gimmicks and ideas that sort of enrich it and make it its own weird creation. I do think they nailed it more with Blaster Master Zero than they did Curse of the Moon when it comes to directly emulating.
I think Blaster Master Zero probably feels better than the original Blaster Master, which did not feel great.
Your competition is a Sunsoft game that's older than anyone on this podcast.
I was like, it feels a lot better. I played the Genesis version of Blaster Master. So I was like, yeah. It doesn't look as good though.
Really?
That aside, the Zero games actually have pretty good game feel.
Yeah.
Their hitboxes are questionable in some places. Like, there was definitely times where I'm like, that dude's bigger than he looks like, and I got hit when I don't feel like I should have gotten hit right there. It is funny that there's certain... This only happens with Japanese developers, and it only happens in these franchises that are really, really heavily iterated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they use everything from the past game in the next game, even if they build upon it. Where a mechanic will be bad, and it will take like 3 games for the developer to go, okay, we need to stop trying to mitigate its badness and just take it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the Zero has a bunch of those. Like, it has the cyber elves that you can't use it all in 1 and 2. And then in 3 and 4, they're like, maybe we should make this a sober system.
You know, this is, of course, a taste perspective paradox here as I assert this proselytude. But I feel like Western games, they look at that mechanic and go, but that's our identity. We sync with this ship.
I feel like lately they've been coming out, like, Western game franchises come out so infrequently, you can barely expect anything from one game to be in the next.
Yeah. I meant when people regularly turned out entries in a single franchise, even at the AAA level. So, you know, your Call of Duties, your Assassin's Creeds for a while there. And then Assassin's Creeds went away and it just became Call of Duty and things during 7th gen, super early 8th gen.
Mm-hmm.
It just, and then there's also the weapon leveling in Zero, which they got rid of.
Huh.
But it reminded me of
real quick, which game do they get rid of that during?
3 or 4? I don't remember which one it is.
Thank you for letting me know.
It's really bad in 1 and 2 because you have to level up your shit to be able to charge it.
Yep.
But it just reminded me of the Yakuza series, where in Yakuza 3, they introduced the chase battles, where you have to chase somebody around and you're on fucking rails. You're not actually pressing forward. You just control left and right. And you have to get close enough and like shoulder check them enough times to empty their stamina bar. And that persisted for like 4 games until they were like, yeah, they like kept making it less involved. And they're like, let's get rid of it.
They're like, guys, Pepsi Man's a great video game, but
It is just the mental image of like Kiryu chasing a dude down the road and picking up a glass bottle and throwing it at his head as he fucking chases him is really funny. But I don't think they've ever been good a single time. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Mega Man Zero. And the only other thing I played was fucking Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm going to put up another timer for Tears of the Kingdom. How long do we think this timer should be? Because this is the second time we're talking about it. So I feel like there's a little bit of a risk of going on too long.
Right.
You know, we don't want to spoil it for Agra, who's not as far as us. And we don't want to spoil me or Bob either. Because we're even further.
Yeah, that's like you say further. You know, you've done more. That's the hard thing about Breath of the Wild style spoilers. Like, oh, how far did you get? Man, I don't know. A lot. I went left. Did you go left?
Right.
Yeah,
there's so many directions in this.
I spent a really long time. I need to put up this timer before I'm even allowed to say this. Let's say 11 minutes. Does that sound fine to everyone?
Sure.
That sounds about right.
Okay, cool. Let me get that graphic back up. And correctly change the title to Tears of the Kingdom discussion. Mild spoilers. There we go. And I'm going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1. I spent most of my time with this game not really, doing the normal thing where it's just like, which way did you go? What did you do? We're doing infinitely different things. And I finally, now as I deal with the fourth, I have concluded, because in a single night, I did half of the regional disturbances or whatever. Did that. So that way it feels like I now have a thing I've done that implies a linear order to the game that I can compare to other people.
Right.
Because aside from that, the game's like, I don't know, I have 18 hearts and they're all on one row for some fucked up reason. I'm like, now roll over.
Fucks me up.
Now roll over. Now roll over. What is happening? But yeah, I've done that. I found a bunch of cool crop circles. I found all the cool crop circles. That shit was raw. This game's fantastic. It continues to surprise me, and at no point has the combat been great. I do not enjoy combat in this game, but everything else is fucking incredible.
It feels like you're motivated to not engage in combat directly, but instead do weird things that will kill the enemies.
Right. It's
if you are standing face to face with an enemy and he is hitting your shield, you have fucked up. You did not exercise your supremacy.
I forgot there was a parry with the shield in this game because of how true that statement is. Like, why would I ever enter that situation game?
Even as a last resort, I can put a spear on a spear and hit you from the back row.
Right.
And this is the one problem I have with this game is that the Lionels just go, no.
I still don't know what that is, and I'm terrified.
Yeah, no, I
none
saw
of your
one.
bullshit works on us.
Around.
No, not a single thing. You fucking fight us like a man, you motherfucker.
I did so little combat in Breath of the Wild because I was always out of shit. And every time I saw enemies, I went, no, I won't get as much from them as I'll spend on them.
Yeah,
and I avoided combat for pretty much that whole game. So it's so weird, all of the heads I've busted this time around.
Now you crush their bones and then attach their bones to your sword, and your sword's better.
Right?
That is true. Also, you can make delicious elixirs from them to give yourself resistance to any number of random things.
God, you can make elixirs that give you heat resistance that don't matter, because everything you need heat resistance for, you need the heat resistant armor for.
Kind of mostly.
Yeah, because there's a difference between flame resistance and heat resistance,
which is fucking insane.
I never found a cave or an area that I needed heat resistance in that like a double heat resistance food would cover. I was still burning.
See, this is where I feel like the old man on your lawn just pointing at the window going, "You will!"
Yeah, because there are two different stats. Like when you get to the what you will need those heat resistance for things. The flame resistance stuff will not work.
And that upset me greatly. The one thing I wanted to say, and I'm not getting any more specific than this, because of course 3 of us have seen it and one of us has not. The Gibdos are terrifying.
Oh, I think I saw him in a Red Moon cutscene and went, "What the fuck?"
I'm like,
Yeah,
please don't eat all my bones and suck the marrow out.
I just found them wandering around in the depths. I'm like, what the fuck are you?
Right? Like the first time I saw a Horriblin was bad enough. Jesus.
Yeah.
And okay, has everybody encountered the hands?
I still haven't. Have you?
I have fought the hands. Yeah.
Feel free to talk
Yes,
about the hands. I haven't found them
owned
somehow.
several packs of the hands.
I fucking I was in broad daylight in a lightly forested area. They just came out from under a tree stump.
Yup.
And the music changed, and I shit myself and just rained bomb arrows at them until I didn't have to be afraid anymore.
And then you had to be afraid again.
No, the bomb arrow thing worked. What are you talking about?
Oh, you must have missed one then, because when you kill all of them in a set, something else spawns.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's quite
And I'm not-
something.
And I'm not going to say what it is. Luckily, that is the moment where Tears of the Kingdom becomes Dark Souls, and the Dark Souls strategy of shoving your face in their junk and circle strafing works.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Speaking of which, I fought what are the elemental Gitaras? Are they called Geox?
I cannot remember.
Oh,
but I know what you're talking about.
The three-headed dragon things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fought the ice one of those. Died to it like 6 times and went, this attack is not... I'm doing something wrong. And then I just cheesed the shit out of it. And then I looked it up later, and that's how you're supposed to fight them.
Let me tell you how it went for me. I saw them from the fucking sky, went, no. Then, traveling through the snowy mountains, I saw them next to me and went, hell no. Inducted to a shrine. That thing just looked so much like the Zelda 1 dragon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it being that size scared the shit out of me. I was no way. Nope.
I had to do it for a quest.
Oh, wow.
Like, they had a electric one as the first one I fought because they put it in a Coliseum and it was really cool.
Yeah.
I just had to give up because it was like, I can't use basically any of my weapons because they're electrified.
I forgot to mention that one. I also crawling at the top of the Coliseum because I was up there because I skydive into everything. Just looked down and went, super fucking no.
So it just has like an electrical aura and all your metal shit hurts? Or
yeah, he
what?
can he has the
lightning
electrical
almost, yeah.
aura at all times, and he can cause a lightning bolt with very little warning. So technically, you're supposed to swap between the weapons so that you're using those. It's rough.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah, no, that's something you gotta
that's
prep
terrifying.
for.
Right.
That's terrifying. It's so fucking...
Has anybody gone and found the bargainer statues in the depths?
Yes, I
haven't
found a
gotten
lot
to
of
one
them.
yet. No.
I found one that is not buried.
Oh.
You actually get to see its full thing, and it's so fucking tall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've had a couple of friends not notice this one. You guys are going back to the lookout every time you clear a regional thing, right?
Yeah.
Checking out the new shit.
Yeah.
Every time I cleared all 4 regional things, I went back.
But yeah, they are actually, people go to the town from the regionals. Things pretty neat.
Well, I was talking about like down in the emergency shelter, there ends up being a hole in the wall. Have you found? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That.
Yeah.
I went to that,
That whole
room.
complex, like I like, oh yes, thank you. I will take all of this armor. Yes, please.
Yeah, that's still like some of my best armor.
I'm glad that they fixed the big problem I had with Breath of the Wild was that it just felt like quests gave you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like they give you a weapon that'll fucking break. They'll give you money, which you can't really use to buy that much shit in the original Breath of the Wild. Like you can buy armor, but once you have that, it's like I guess I'll stock up on bomb arrows. But in this, I did this really big, long, fucking involved quest. That and at the end, the dude's like, "Hey, you want a heart vessel or a stamina container?" I'm like, "What?"
Ah!
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, "That's a really good fucking reward." And half most of the rewards in this are like, okay, now the shop has more stuff, or now like it's something that's more valuable.
Chat, don't say anything in regards to the anecdote I'm about to tell because I'm being a specific amount of vague, so shut it. So on that flame armor Aggro was talking about that deters flames, I'm like, wait, where's the whole set? I feel like there's got to be a set and there's got to be set bonus. So I go look up, like, how do I get the whole armor? The shop has 1 piece. And the fucking guy just goes, buy them all, dumbass. They should be right there. I'm like, they're not. And right beneath that, it's like, hey, would you like to see our guide on Super King Big Nuts armor you didn't know was in this game until this sentence? And I'm like, fuck you, guide! You were both wrong and full of spoilers!
Yeah, I've been doing my best to look up nothing.
Did you figure out what was going on with the flame armor, Dan, or you still only have
assumed
one?
later they would just stock the other two pieces.
If you go to the place in the main town, the main Goron town, they sell the whole set.
That's not what the guide said!
Because
But
that's
the-
the only
if
place
you-
I saw.
Oh, there is a
you-
separate guy you can buy it from. I forgot.
Yeah, if you go, because you have to go to the HQ of the miners,
Right.
And there's one piece for sale there.
Yeah, I guess that they put that one there as the backup for if you didn't go to the town.
Yes, that is what I think they did.
All right,
Luckily, you only have to buy 2 pieces of it because the flame guard doesn't stack to 3; it only stacks to 2.
No, but there is
Well,
a
you
set
only
bonus.
have to buy one because you can find a different helmet that has flame guard.
Yes. That's what I did.
Yeah, I was like, let me guess. The game's like, hey, set bonuses. Not all of them have it. And I'm like, it's gonna be the base set that doesn't have one, isn't it? In my opinion, it should have one, but it's gonna be that, isn't it? I upgrade all of them to 2 and nothing happens, and I go, you fuck.
What? The base set you can't even upgrade. What?
Yeah, you can.
No, the
You
The,
got
the,
the
the
Hylian
Hyrulean stuff you get
yeah,
from the
that-
lookout
the
tower instead of the, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking.
You upgrade
Not-
that once and it's
not-
better than Soldier. And I'm like, oh, well, shit.
Yeah, not the rags you find upward in the first hour of the game
So
where
the
they're
soldier-
like, we all
soldier-
dress like this, Snicker.
I kind of wish you did get to upgrade that because like, but this is what the game was advertised with. I want to be going around
sorry
this
now.
Toga Link.
Nope. You have to get
The
different
soldier
cool
stuff is
outfits.
really good in this game, even if you have to go find it. Because I found one piece, and I'm like, Jesus, I get a lot of defenses. I upgrade you.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that for most of the game, the depths feel weirdly safer than the surface because enemies can only break 1 heart.
There's a really cool sense, though. Like, that was when the game shot up for me really hard, because that is the coolest shit in the world to just... That could have been its own open world game. I realized at some point, like, this is a gimmick. This is an idea for some other smaller company's open world game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just the entire thing down separate open world. All they did in marketing is tell us about the above ground stuff or the stuff in the sky.
Yeah.
So when we hit this,
Go ahead and finish your sentence.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Okay. We'll get
I'm
one
still
last
mad
comment.
that Dan called the depths were in there. I'm so mad. Because the very last time we talked about Tears of the Kingdom report came out, Dan's like, I bet there's a whole underground they're not showing us. And then I went into a chasm. I'm like, God damn it.
Last comment, Zagro, do you have any?
I mean, yeah, like the Sky Islands are cool. The depths are a whole new thing. But honestly, the real winner in this game is the caves.
Yes.
Holy shit. They
Yeah.
add so much depth and coolness.
Yeah, that's definitely what it felt like was lacking in Brass. Now that literally every well in the game, you can go inside. Because before the wells were just flat. You can't enter that.
Mhm.
Now, no, there's somebody who wants to find all 63 wells.
Yeah.
Just like I did, arguably the regions out of order. I also specifically did the Fire Temple way out of order, where I was like, fuck you and this fucking, I see what you want, I have ascend, and I have 3 circles of stamina, I'm a god, and I just fly around in the wrong order doing everything.
The Fire Temple is so good.
No, it is good. It is good.
Because like you're standing in it and you're not like in an instanced walled off place. You just look out the cracked wall and go, oh, that's the outside. I'm just in a building in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Does
pretty good.
stamina determine how high you can ascend?
No, it determines how much you can just fly laterally using the gust over and over while gliding.
Oh, yeah.
So you can just
Oh,
climb
okay.
5 floors up and then just hover. It was really funny as I just watched myself get the hardest one first and the first one last.
Yeah, I ended up climbing through the walls in a way I didn't expect in that one. Just like, okay, you clearly didn't want me here, but I'm here.
Yeah. I did that with the
Yeah,
castle.
whoops, I think I did this section backwards.
That didn't give me anything, but I did that with the castle, like Hyrule Castle.
Oh, okay.
I'm just running in under a stalactite, and I'm like, ascend! I better pop out in a room with Ganon and fight him immediately. And then I'm all the way at the top of it, and I'm like, wait. This didn't work it out at all. Bob, last statement. I gotta hit that button.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
So I'm playing this until it's insanely late every night, and I'm very tired. So sometimes I'm doing a shrine, and something just isn't working, and I'll just sit there like I made the device complete, and I solved your puzzle. Why is this not completing? So I'm just standing there staring at this river that I put a device with 2 paddles on the edge of wheels, and the device just spinning in place in the river, flipping back up on shore at me. I'm like, go across.
Do it.
Oh, I do have one last anecdote. I was in one of those lava caves, and it's like, well, I don't want to slowly beat down this rock wall with my mallet. I guess I'll use a bomb air.
Yes, same.
And then I had to start from the start of the cave.
Suleta Forgetta.
Bob, building off your statement,
Yeah.
last thing I want to say is there's a certain point in playing this game where you get too smart. And when the shrine asks you to do a really basic thing, your brain is starting with quadratic math.
Yeah.
There's a shrine, and I'm okay spoiling this because it's the simplest fucking shrine in this game, I swear to God. And that's what makes this story so sad. It has 2 pegs in the wall. It's like, wonder how you get up there. Oh, a platform. I wonder if you, and I'm like, I would simply hold the platform, then drop it, then reverse time while standing. And it's like, just ascend, dipshit. I'm like,
I really hope if they do DLC for this, it isn't, because the DLC in the first one had a bunch of combat challenges, which is like fucking whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I hope the sequel, I hope that they do DLC again, it's like, here's a bunch of challenge shrines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shrines are really great in this.
Yeah, and if they really just like pulled the limiters off, they could do some sick punishing puzzles with the amount of tools they give you.
Yeah, this game, as of yet, has not water templed my ass, and I feel like with the mechanics in it, it has some real fucking potential.
Yes.
They're gonna be like, for the DLC, we added water flow as a mechanic. So you now divert water in order to... Because they need to add an extra layer.
Oof.
Oh man, the fact Nintendo's doing this shit on a fucking phone hardware from 2015 is absolutely insane.
God, watching game devs cry on Twitter is the best.
It's like,
been
how
so
hard is
good.
this really? It's like, really hard.
Really, really fucking hard.
Please
Okay.
break the dissolution of no ray tracing, please. Anything to help to that.
Okay, and that's gonna end our Tears of the Kingdom discussion segment. I can disappear. Where is it? That? Yeah, and then change this to something else. Let's see. Oh, that's right. We need to talk about the Podlord.
Oh my god.
Holy shit, Podlords.
Oh, the Podlords.
Oh, fuck.
I don't think I'm ready.
Are you ready for the Podlords? Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Yes, that's right. Oh, fuck, the Podlords. Podlords such as E. Lee Broyles, BN12. Gene Spencer confirms Mommy GF Bout was rated well internally, so no clue why it failed on release. Red Blaze 27. Suzu Shiro. Shiba Yagato. The boss was right. Oh, what are you doing? Bro! What are you doing, bro? The boss was right. Those are some pretty eyes.
Me staring down the store employees as I eat the batteries.
I need to buy a razor. 101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered. WTF, Spider-Man. Mr. I like spam. Did a Discord watch-along of the 1979 film Caligula. And, well, it sure was an eventful viewing, that's for sure.
Yup.
DFW3K. Muckbun. Shiny Mew. Kristen. Kyle Bjork. I don't know. He's got a pizza and he's cool.
Okay.
Both true.
Yeah.
Is that a pizza?
Yeah, it's a cheese
It's
pizza.
pizza.
It kind of looks like it's stuffed, like a pillow. Printed to
be.
look like
That
a
is
pizza.
such an accurate print. If it's a print, but you might be right. I don't know. Sometimes I get a Hungry Howie's pizza and they don't know how to cut slices, so this seems
It's
pretty
true.
in par with that, yeah. Iron Aggro. Blig de Blue, Schlig de Foo. Monster Hunter, Ryzen and Raiden. Why'd you hit the gritty on me, Miles? Cooper Tank. Lale Lule Bounce.
Come on. Come on.
That is
Gotta
such
try.
a glorious shit post.
Moon Muse Entertainment Studio. Indigo Sykes. I didn't realize how large this Podlord's name is. Drive Typecast would like to recommend the webcomic Girl Genius for adventure romance, mad science. Can't finish reading. It's running off the screen. Oh, that was the last word. It's just missing the E and the exclamation mark. Okay. All
Oh
right.
shit. Girl genius. Is it 2002?
It might be. It might be. Flagrant error. 3DS over. Update equals very yes. Oh, this is not precious.
Ugh.
Solid Raccoon, ready to commence the vision. He's got the squinty eyebrow texture too. Furrowed eyebrow. I wish all SCOTUS a very pleasant go play in traffic. The Super Mim. Coming next on Pokemon. Oh, wait, where did it go? Oh, no! Ah! I don't know why it's getting blurry now. Guys, I don't know what happened. It's gone.
Oh no.
It's gone. It's
Well,
gone. It's just
Podlords
gone.
were good while they lasted.
I'm sorry, Podlords. You were so young. We're just going to cut to the screen while I fix things.
Local
You
Twitch
think the-
streamer just gives up.
The biggest stigmatism dimension. God. Firefox has a secret code where if you enter things, it will just shut down, I guess.
No, quick, hit delete. You'll become
That's
the
so
freakazoid.
tragic.
Yeah, it was supposed to have this image. There's no reason it shouldn't have had this image. And then instead of showing it, it crashed. Oh my God. I kept blaming myself, but it's literally like, no, it was there. What the fuck just happened? Man, I fuck up enough. You don't need to add fuck ups for me, Firefox. Anyways, let's get back to it. Coming next on Pokemon Movie 9, could Ash have solved this problem with Aura? The answer may surprise you. Saraline. Timothy Pfister sincerely hopes Foam Stars can carve out a niche for itself and not be Square Enix's Destruction All-Stars. I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
feel like shouldn't the term be Square Enix's Chocobo GP, Babylon's Fall,
Oh
Final
no.
Fantasy VII, The First Soldier.
Oh no. Stop.
I think that's all of them.
And you have to say the whole thing every time. It's like a Tribe Called Quest. Bearded Joe, Pleochrome, Krunglespum, Lord Richter, betrayed.
What have you done?
Why did you leave him there?
I don't know.
He's always so dry.
He's gonna dry out so bad there. Oh. I'm going to kill the 3DS and then kill it again. You can't keep killing it. They'll keep bringing it back. I'm sorry. Melancholic Cloud. Every game dev, programmer, and rocket scientist be looking at Tears of the Kingdom's physics like some shit I can't read. And slightly above average. Thank you very much to our Podlords.
Thank Podlords.
Thank you, Podlord.
Thank you, Podlords.
And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits, such as early access to Chugging Bleach and Pokemon Go to the Movies, our 2 monthly anime review podcasts, extended content for other shows we do, when indeed such content exists for you to be given it, a movie, an actual movie. This is not a fucking joke. This is not a joke or a bit or a goof. You get a movie called Isolation 119, which is mostly about a man drinking beers in a chair, but it's a movie. It counts.
That counts.
You watch it on our Patreon. You also get a Patreon exclusive show one a month where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and then talk about. And if it's a bad thing, you also get a commentary track, and you also get a bunch of commentary tracks for other shit we've watched, such as the Immaculate Lumalin film Only Interstellar Pinball Lives Forever, and other similar horrors. That is patreon.com/gbpodcast, and it always helps us immensely. If you don't have any money, to tell your friends, spread the word, rate us on Thursdays, rate us on your favorite podcast app of choice, or like this video if you're watching on YouTube. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. Thank you.
Yeah, we have some news. I get to do a really quick news really quick, and I'm pretty happy about that. Except for that I'm really mad. Hey, guys. Remember how... Oh, Chris disappeared.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, Firefox.
no.
I have to kill you to get Chris back. Okay, even that didn't bring Chris back? That's abnormal. Oh, there we go!
Okay, there we go.
Windows had to surrender Firefox. So last week I brought up the fact that for the 4060 Ti graphics cards, NVIDIA was really leaning on their frame generation stuff and being like, look at this chart that's full of that will not be providing any direct comparisons, please. This week it came out, it got reviewed. Everyone hates it. Gamers Nexus called this the worst GPU launch NVIDIA's ever had, I believe. It is truly rock bottom in terms of value. It is a graphics card that is aiming for 1080p. It is worse in a lot of cases than the prior generation 3060 Ti. It is staggering that NVIDIA is this fucking bold.
Well, obviously this is a cheaper option, right? How much are these cards?
The prices, well, I mean, that card's been on the market for years at this point, so it's obviously cheaper because it's been on the year. They are really relying on you needing AV1 encoding because you're a streamer and that's the future, or you falling for the DLSS 3 scam. Gamers Nexus did literally call it a waste of sand, which they've only used, I believe, once before describing a CPU from Intel, question mark? It's a terrible launch. Horrible. And then one day later, AMD's like, hey, our graphics card's launching and we just cut the price by $30 right before launch, so you have to change your reviews to reflect that. And everyone went, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm like, no, we don't.
Yeah, you could change your mouth to beer on my dick and reflect that.
Yeah,
That is some serious go fuck yourself.
Yeah. The deal was they did that at the last second. They were trying to make it more compelling as a price proposition. It is still also a lame duck. It's not punching very hard, and then doing this at the last second shows a complete lack of confidence in the product itself. So yeah, we got 2 really bad GPU launches in a single week from 2 different manufacturers, both of which just don't give a fuck and think you should eat shit.
That's great.
Uh-huh. Isn't it, though? Isn't this what everyone wanted?
Well, they're kicking their own teeth in hard enough. Maybe things will get better.
Let's see. I'm trying to check the exact price cut because the number I said has been questioned in chat. Now, chat, this works just like backseating on a game. If you're wrong, you're going to get decimated because I had to take a time to double check this. Let's see. The original price was $299. That is right here. And the new one is $269. That works out to $30. The price I said. Oh boy. Goodbye. That's what you get for eating into podcast time. Anyway, that's fucking awful. I'm so sick of these goddamn GPU manufacturers.
Yeah.
PC gaming is important too, and I care immensely about it, which is why it's so frustrating to see the market just decide, hey, what if we just suck? And we never need to improve. Like, these are the 4060 Ti. I didn't cover it in these terms, but I probably should. The 4060 Ti is a $400 GPU. And its performance is not radically better than the PS5. Countless people came out and compared it to GPUs that launched 2.5 years after the PS4 and the PS3, and how bad it tracks in comparison to any of those.
Yeah.
NVIDIA just don't give a fuck. So yeah, if you can, do not buy a GPU. Make these people cry. They deserve it. Thank God there are fucking consoles. Because otherwise it would be like, oh, we still can't get 1440p gaming. For under $400 for just the GPU end of it.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's terrible. I hate it. Okay. We got some. This is also quick news. We got some quick like financial slides out of Sony, which Chris pointed out to me, and I thought that was really fascinating because I didn't think of this. When they put out these slides, I mostly just noticed PSVR 2 selling better than PSVR 1 at a higher core price. Because, you know, it's all included in the unit, but even with the combined accessories for PSVR 1, this ends up costing more. But it's selling at a higher rate, which is good. And hopefully that keeps trending that way, because you know how many things came out and it's like, it's a failure.
Right.
It's done for. We're never recovering. Sony's decimated. But the thing that Chris pointed out, PlayStation Plus is doing insanely better than Game Pass. And I'm like, yeah, I'll probably do that for 1 year. They'll probably still do better than Game Pass, but not radically. Because the value on PlayStation Plus sucks.
It does.
It's terrible. I am not renewing.
Unless accidentally.
Shut up, man. Don't make fun of my Game Pass addiction. Right?
Now, I need to make it clear that I am extrapolating from Phil Spencer saying that Game Pass has $1 billion a year in revenue.
Right.
And I just worked backwards from that to get a rough estimate of how many people they have, and it's like 7 or 8 million, versus Sony being like, yeah, we have 15 million people who are in one of these 2 bullshit tiers.
Right. So in some spaces out there, people would say, oh, so you made up the numbers? It's like, no, I did math. Math is a real thing.
No. I went off the comments of trusted industry figure Phil Spencer.
Yeah, are we not allowed to do that when it goes against his favor now? Or like, what are we?
I don't. Before we stop talking about Phil Spencer, and thank God there isn't anything to talk about.
Yeah, thank God we can have one fucking week.
I do want to point out that we might not have to talk about him very much at all, and not because he's being fired. They fired their PR guy right after Redfall happened.
Yeah, he left the
company. So I'm just wondering if like the entire company's PR tone is going to shift dramatically, and we will no longer get friend of the fanboy Phil Spencer, and it's going to be like, no, you act like a fucking executive now, and you come out in very rare cases. No more going on podcasts sad and depressed.
Yeah, I do have to wonder what's going to happen there. I can never figure it out with Xbox. I can never figure this shit out.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, I sure hope it was from their like PR team, or
It was.
not just Phil directly. Is like that.
Oh, you're saying,
Which-
I mean, that's pretty Phil.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like
But
we'll
I
have to
feel
wait a
like-
few months
I
to see
feel-
how it goes.
But
Mhm.
that guy that guy they fired came in 2019, and that feels like when Phil, the hero of the gamers, started becoming the thing. Like he started spinning that up.
Yeah, pro-consumer as a
Yeah, the
marketing
pro
tagline.
consumer. He's gonna go on podcasts. He's gonna wear obscure gaming shirts at the shows.
I think
all
that's
that shit.
That
Yeah,
may have
that
started
started
sooner, and that
earlier.
was a knockoff of
That might
Sony
have-
doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they leaned in but it feels like that whole persona. It doesn't feel like Phil Spencer went, I'm gonna build a cult of personality around myself. It feels like the PR guy went, hey, you should build a cult of personality around yourself.
I don't know. I feel like I got that energy from even as far back as when Scalebound was announced. Like, I feel like it's been
Right.
since the 2016 sort of time period of like going on the podcast with Jeff Gertzman.
I mean, that's
after shows and stuff, and just playing up how likable a guy he is.
And
has
that's
been his
early
thing.
8th gen in a nutshell. That was the vibes going around. You had countless Sony execs coming out in shirts teasing games that they own and maybe they're doing a thing with. And then shortly after that, Microsoft started doing it with Battletoads.
Yeah,
And we saw how that went. So, yeah, I'm interested in whether or not we'll get a tonal shift over at Xbox. The only other thing I wanted to point out on this thing, you can see the PS3 from space. Yo, that's weird. Isn't that supposed to go above that line? If you look at the operating income on the bottom, it just goes completely negative for almost that whole gen. Only 2010 recovers slightly.
I can't be surprised at all.
Why do they not make consoles like the PS3 anymore?
I want to see the same kind of chart made for Xbox.
It's just question marks the whole way. It's just such a fucking mystery why they don't make consoles like the PS3 anymore. But yeah, as you can see from that, it looks like the PS5 is doing better than ever in the PS4 sales-wise. There was another slide. I didn't screen cap it to show it because it's not as funny as the fucking Death Crater DBZ style as the PS3.
Right.
But there was that thing where you can see the divide between PS5 sales and PS4 sales and how additive they are. And weirdly enough, the PS5, of course, is off to a way stronger start than the PS4 because if you recall, we had a few years of industry analysts and journalists being like, oh, the phones are the future of gaming. Who would want a new console? And then everyone bought a console. And then they're like, wow, that's crazy. I had to listen to someone on a podcast recently. This comment's going to out them, so I'm not saying their fucking name. But I had to listen to someone on a podcast recently who's like, are people really going to be interested in the PlayStation 6 when Sony comes out and charges $700 for it? I don't know. I think people are getting tired of that. You know what's really exciting, though? The Steam Deck. Anyway, we're going to move on.
Why would the PS6 be $700?
Yeah, there are a lot of why.
Yeah, there's a lot in
Anyway,
that.
we're just moving on.
I mean, the way inflation's going, it might be for no other reason.
No.
The PlayStation 6, 2 goats and a hard roll.
Yeah, because fiat currency will have collapsed by then.
So really, really, really prophetic, actually. Whose news is the best? We're going to go to Bob's news. Hey, Bob.
Man, I don't want to have to start raising goats now.
I'm sorry. You have to start now. Otherwise,
Then
you
we'll
can't
have
get
to
a
steal
PS6.
some from the Forest Clan.
You're right. That sounds way easier.
Yeah, it does.
You have clearly never raided the Forest Clan.
Then we're going to need an expert, aggro.
I will need fire.
Hey, Bob, what news do you got?
Right after we ended the podcast last week, Integrates got on the news feed and was like, "We're announcing a new game. It's called Umbra Claw. It's only for PC right now." But this is made by the director of Blaster Master Zero, Satoru Nishizawa. You play as a cat trying to escape hell. It has like an ukiyo painting style to it. It looks a little bland for what that sounds like, though. It doesn't look like as nice as you would think from an ukiyo style like that.
Yeah, it looks kind of ugly.
Yeah, and a lot of really sharp edges to stuff and very obvious box shapes for
Yeah.
platforms.
I
I'm
haven't.
hoping this is really early in development and all that'll change.
Maybe. Yeah, it showed us very little. I don't.
For a second, my brain was like, well, maybe that wonderful 101 DLC was practice for making this. Wait. Those are two
Man,
different companies.
it's not good that Platinum is now trending towards the same headspace as Inti creates.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's. They really need something to get them out of this rut. Bayonetta 3 was really cool in the story.
You're right.
And
Mechanically and scope-wise, really fucking awesome. Too bad about the story.
yeah,
frame rate.
In the frame rate.
rate.
Which, ugh.
And that Bayonetta prequel thing was neat. Like that was a lot of cool ideas. Shouldn't have been $60, but what you gonna do?
Yeah, what you gonna do? I didn't see any gameplay in this trailer that really got me attached to it, and since the art style isn't firing at like an 11,
Right.
I'm not really compelled by it.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to play as a cat though.
Right. Yeah. Like as a policy level, I stand for video games about cats.
Sure. Where's the next game from freaking the Dragon's Crown people? Vanillaware.
I don't know.
I just thought of the Nekomata DLC. You play as the girl who can turn into a cat and just you run around as a cat. It's great. It's amazing. Why is that not anything with the Vita?
Who knows? What else do we got, Bob?
Well, luckily.
Oh God damn it! No, I literally didn't read this. I was like, I've talked about how funny this was 4 times over the last 24 hours. I don't have to do it again.
Xbox fans can breathe easy now.
Why is that, Bob?
They made enough of a ruckus on Twitter that Microids has made the decision to bring them the much lauded Inspector Gadget Mad Time Party. So it's on the Xbox Series and the Xbox One. There was a lot of fear it wouldn't be.
Let me tell you how this appeared in my life because it is the most appropriate and insane way, okay? I have the objectively correct timeline for figuring out this information. I hear Microids isn't putting out a game on Xbox. So what do I see? I see Jez Corden on fucking Twitter. The Microids is just like, we didn't see really any real interest, and Jez Corden's just like,
How did you determine that? Where did these numbers come from?
and then fucking John Lindman's like, I don't know, man. I'm so sorry you're not getting that. They need to figure this out. Maybe Game Pass has destroyed sales. You know, in Germany, we stopped selling Xbox games like at a lot of stores because they just don't sell. Then I see fucking Windows Central man who's like,
This is an outrage. How could they have determined to not do this? We must tear them down.
and then John Lindman's there too, I'm pretty sure. And he's just like, man, that's real crazy. I can't believe they're not bringing this to Xbox. I didn't know what game they were talking about. I find out the next day when they go, everyone, we are proud to announce we've heard you loud and clear. Xbox gamers love Inspector Gadget. Here you go. And I'm like, that was what you have to fight for on Xbox? This is the level we're at right now? Dude, fucking... You know how many times, like, a really cool indie game is, like, Switch and Xbox? And I'm like, that's a shame. I would love to play that on my PlayStation. And then it just doesn't happen, and at no point I'm like,
This is an outrage.
what the fuck happened?
I don't know. They were
What the fuck happened?
Xbox fans are just in such gutters.
Now, it's worth noting one of these two people. Oh, yeah, I think it was Jez Corden and Nick Special, who's the Xbox era fanatic. He's the head guy over there. The one who had a meltdown inventing, as Chris put it, QAnon. Yes, it was like...
Yeah, gamer QAnon.
Everyone's gonna just wait and give a bad score to Starfield because they want to hurt Xbox. It's like, no.
A bad score. His examples being a 7.5 and an 8.
Yes.
They're just excited to tear this game down, but we won't let them.
And I'm just like, what are you talking about? You think Xbox has a bias against it? In America?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
There's got to be some reason they're losing.
So these people are fucking insane.
Yeah, I think it was over an Inspector Gadget game and another game that I didn't see them make an announcement about, which was some French-made like indie JRPG style game.
Okay.
And I was like, it's weird they didn't announce anything about that. I thought that was the big thing, but I guess the
No,
real
they
big
just
thing
know
was Inspector
Xbox
Gadget.
gamers love Inspector
What's
Gadget.
to make this port? It's like it sold 10 copies.
They should just publish the sales data.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
By the way, I say this and I mean this, okay? If you know what Nick Special's gamer handle is and Jez Corden's, and they don't have achievements in Inspector Gadget within a week of launch, you give them shit.
Yes.
A company is out there being pressured by those two fucks and their clout and following to publish on a platform they originally didn't intend to. They better financially support it, fucker. I don't want to see them ever be like, it seems like a game for Game Pass. Like, no.
Please send me a code for your game. I got it onto the Xbox, so you owe me.
Oh, is that how that works? I cost
I feel like you owe us.
I cost your company thousands of dollars to put it on a platform that you were uncertain about by pressuring you online like this was fucking Return of the King. I don't this moment was so big for Inspector fucking Gadget.
You know, I didn't think we'd have another reason to talk about the Inspector Gadget video game ever again on this podcast.
No, I felt insane bringing it up at all. Could you imagine if imagine a world where they publish it on Xbox and Switch and I'm on Big Think outraged. How did they determine that?
Like this has closed a loop for me scrolling through news sites, and I keep seeing articles about indie developer decides to bring a game to Xbox when they weren't gonna. I'm like, that doesn't sound interesting, and I keep scrolling past it. And then I open our news doc and oh shit.
Yeah. Fucking insane. Let's get out of here. Hey, Aggro, you got news too. Start shooting.
Oh, I do. So slight spoiler for later coverage of the PlayStation Showcase. But if you're not interested in buying Sony's insane broke DualSense Switch lookalike, the Backbone One, which is basically just a controller you put your phone into, now works on phones that weren't made by Apple and are bought by poor people, is what I hear. This week they launched the Android version of the Backbone One, so you can, maybe play some JRPGs on your phone during activities like work, play, recording podcasts.
Aggro wrote into his fucking notes for those of us dirty, group chats with our non-Apple colored text boxes. And all I could think about was that insane news coverage. It's like, girls at school are mean if your text doesn't show up as the right color, because it means you don't have an Apple and you're poor.
Oh, man. Girls at school. Like, listen, I don't know how, what the age group of our viewers is, how they skew. Listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're currently in high school and a girl is being mean to you, hit her.
Whoa!
Just hit her. The moment you graduate, you will regret not having done it. Allegedly, Minecraft, Roblox, not a lawyer.
But then you have to express that it's because you respect her as a warrior. Allegedly, Minecraft.
Is this how it seems on the other side?
What is the other side?
The other side of someone saying something insane?
Yes, this is to some extent what we've been podcasting with for 4 years. I don't know.
So speaking of things that are absolutely fucking insane, for those of you unaware of the tremendous occasion, it is apparently the 40th anniversary of the McDonald's chicken nugget.
Whoa.
Oh.
They are celebrating by selling in China a chicken nugget shaped handheld video game device that plays Tetris.
That's bizarre.
Only in China. So if you have a burning love of the McDonald's Chicken McNugget and also Russian block drop puzzle games, and you have never said anything negative about the ruling Communist Party of the People's Republic of China, good news. There is an opportunity for you.
Or you can just buy it on eBay.
This only has one button to turn your piece.
That's all you need.
No, that's no.
I don't know, man. Needing 2 buttons for rotations is some bitch shit. Just
So
hit it
That's not
faster.
true strength, Dan.
yes, it is.
I need technology to do it for me. I use controllers that have turbo buttons.
Jesus Christ!
Okay, I'm noticing bigger problems here. That ain't a Tetromino being dropped. That's 2.
It's lighting up every possible block
Okay,
on the display.
I
You know how
have
Tiger
seen-
Electronics?
Oh.
Yeah, that's
I've
what
seen
it's
the
doing.
GIF of this. They're actually scrolling the word Tetris made out of blocks, and that's just the beginning of it.
Okay.
This was the best picture of the unit I could find, and that was just unfortunate.
Okay. Gotcha. No, you need to be able to spin both ways. That's insane. You're all crazy.
Or we're just actually good at Tetris. I don't know what to tell
I have
you.
enough history to tell you at least 2 people confirmed in this conversation are not so great at Tetris. Who are they?
Hands up if you've beaten Dan at Tetris before. You can't see it, but I'm holding my hand up.
I'm looking at you. You aren't holding your
Yeah, you see me holding that skull?
Ask me how I got the skull. It's an epic story.
That tangentially involves Tetris. Anyway, Warhammer Skulls was today. They're hey, we're Games Workshop and we just hand our license out to anybody who wants it showcase.
Is that safe? Maybe.
Probably.
You know, they had some footage of stuff.
It's safer than, telling high schoolers to punch.
Yeah.
It's true. That is a proven strategy of greater success. We got a little footage of Space Marine 2 and what looks like somewhere between a kart racing game and Twisted Metal, just with 40K vehicles. But the most important thing we saw was they announced Power Wash Simulator DLC for Warhammer 40K.
Finally.
I cannot wait to clean the grim, dark filth off of the Eisenstein, as in the background, disembodied voices tell me that I really should read the Lectitio Divinitatis. It's got some good ideas in there that
There's got
I
some
think
good
could
ideas.
improve your life.
I'm just saying, give it a read. It'll change you. Well, that's it for aggro news. Let's go to Chris news.
Okay. That fucking Gollum game came out today.
Yeah, it sure did.
I believe you could probably make a supercut of every time it's come up on Big Thing to Mention, and I said something to the effect of, it looks like they got walking working last week. And seems like they didn't actually get walking working last week. The game currently has a 38 on Metacritic. And multiple people have reviewed it. 2 things of, I tried to beat this game. It crashed 120 times on me. I couldn't beat this game. I kept clipping out of bounds and then it would crash on me. To the point where Sony, why did you let this ship on your platform? How did this get through your certification?
No one noticed. They deprioritized.
Works on
that
my
one.
machine.
Amazon had a big enough stack of cash. Or wait, this doesn't have
This
Amazon.
is
on it.
Amazon.
Yeah,
This is just
some weird.
This has
nobodies,
nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's really obvious at this point that like we're not getting Andy Serkis. No shit, you can't afford him.
Right. Just to be clear, the Metacritic's 38, and a reviewer said it crashed 120 times, and it sounds like it's also a horrible game. This should really be a condemnation of every reviewer.
yeah. It's like guys, you can give a game a 1.
Guys, you could go lower than 3, we promise.
Yeah, there exist lower numbers.
Like this
Yeah,
is how old is this? Like this is one of the first PS5 games that got
This
announced.
was the first PS5 game announced.
Yep.
How do you I mean, I can see working that long on a game and it's bad, but working that long on a game and it doesn't run.
Right? Like just being patently broken.
I mean, I want to be fair to the person who said it crashed 120 times on it. They gave that game a 2,
Too high.
which
That's
is still
good.
arguably too high.
It
But
is.
at least they
Yeah.
understood. It's like, no, 2.
Yeah, that's what those numbers down there are for, goddammit. Use the whole scale. It's very healthy. You feel good at the end of it.
But let's move on from Gollum on the Wii. The Western version of Blue Protocol, Namco's answer to Genshin, has been delayed to 2024 in the West. The Japanese version will still launch on PC this year.
I'm excited to see how this game looks.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see the game come out and just stare at some footage just to know.
In deranged news, so the 3DS eShop is dead. All production of 3DS hardware and cartridges ended, I think, in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
There is no longer any feasible way, under any circumstance, in this universe or in any other,
Uh-huh.
where Nintendo can make even a cent off the 3DS.
Yeah.
And yet they still felt the need to push out a 3DS firmware update exclusively to try and minimize the amount of hackable 3DSs there are.
Insane.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Vile. Evil.
And it didn't even work because the people behind it said, yeah, we'll get through it in like 2 seconds anyway, but you'll have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, they already fixed it. It happened the next day.
Good
They're
job
wasting
wasting
resources
several
on-
$1,000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job, asshole. Fuck.
So last week I read the list of games Ubisoft claims they're going to ship within the next by the end of March of next year,
Yeah, tell me
Which,
this fairy tale.
which was Assassin's Creed Mirage, The Crew Motorsport, or whatever the fuck that game was called, Motor Crew, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't know what the cruise subtitle is.
Avatar, The Division Battle Royale, Tom Clancy's XD-RAR, Rainbow Six Mobile, I forget, Skull and Bones, and the last one they didn't say what it was. That they just said a big notable game. Apparently that's their fucking open world Star Wars game that they think they're gonna ship.
It's okay. They're turning Beyond Good and Evil 2 into Star Wars.
They might be, you know?
I mean,
Oh my god.
That game that's also not real.
yes.
Well, they turned all the assets they made for that game that was going nowhere into some Star Wars shit, which honestly would probably work perfectly fine.
I want to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt on stage this year. If you have any Star Wars fan art you'd like to donate to the
Oh,
cause.
no. That's so 2017. Now he's on stage to talk about their new machine learning content generation tool. So they sped up the art generation for this game and how you should all be clapping. He's like, come on, guys. Bros.
This is unrelated to Ubisoft, but is related to AI generated art. I talked about that game that I think it was Nippon Ichi is making, Ixitris, a while back, and all I said was it looks like shit. Apparently it looks like shit because its art assets are AI generated.
God.
That's what somebody who would know told me. And when I looked at the character and I'm like, yeah, this looks it. It looks like that.
Yeah, every company is starting to dabble with it. And it's like, maybe they won't notice. It looks like shit.
It's like we do, and now your game is bombed. Goodbye. Go to hell.
Boom, 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 boom.
So
don't
more
have one,
Ubisoft news that we got an update on the Prince of Persia remake.
Great. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Reminder, it was announced in 2019, I believe. Yes, 2019.
Oh my God.
It moved to Ubisoft Montreal last year in May, so 1 year ago. They're saying, guys, it's still coming. It's in the conception phase.
The shit was announced when we started Big Think.
Maybe it was 2020. 2020 was the latest it was, though.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I remember it was announced. It was like only a few months out from release.
Now,
Yep.
what do we think has happened here? There's only 2 options. One is Ubisoft is so incomprehensibly fucked that they cannot get out a remake of a PS2 game. Option 2 is when they moved it to Ubisoft Montreal, they went, we've spent too much time and money on this. It now has to be a super game.
As I recall, development started at like a Ubisoft studio in a Southeast Asia.
It was like Malaysia or something.
Yeah, something like that. It was a new studio, possibly. So, Ubisoft India. Okay, that was my first guess. Though I should have said it out loud. I guess it wasn't. So they started development there, and it just bombed. Like clearly, they just canceled that fucking game, which makes sense. They showed it off. It was hideous, and it's like. The original game's only problem is that it doesn't look like a modern game. It's a perfectly good game.
Mm-hmm.
We think. See you later, Prince of Persia. January.
Prince of Month.
People will show up thinking it's a tennis thing.
Because for
Well,
all
I
the
mean,
shit
we're
you can
also running that podcast.
Ooh.
like for all the shit you can say about EA, they spun out that Dead Space remake in like 2.5 years.
Right. Yeah.
Because they could skip all of fucking pre-production because they knew what the game was.
Right. And that should help. But this was like some from the ground up. We're going to build up the studio by trusting them with one of our most valuable IPs and remaking an absolute fucking classic. Oops.
That's true. But then they moved it to their A-lister, and a year out, it's in conception.
Okay, so there is no world in which they didn't realize quickly that they would have to restart that game. I guarantee it. They just did not want to announce we have canceled the game that studio was making and started another because for some reason gamers never put that together.
I mean, I feel like people who knew what they were doing would have that realization, but it's Ubisoft. There's a lot of management at that company.
Yeah.
So I feel like somebody went, no, they did all this work. You have to use it. Finish the game. Just finish it. I don't understand what the problem is. Just finish it.
And then the manager from Ubisoft HQ comes in and he says, drink the chunky monster. And I go, I don't want to drink the chunky monster. Yeah, this sucks.
Yeah.
But hopefully it'll be great when it comes out. I feel like maybe at some level Dead Space Remake elevated the bar. Because people seem pretty happy with that. Maybe they were aiming lower. We saw they were aiming lower.
We saw they were aiming very low.
Very low. Too low. Mobile phone low.
Mm-hmm.
Eye shaders don't work right low.
But yeah, I feel like Chris is probably, like, his second option is probably right if it's being completely redesigned into a much different game than a remake of the first game. Like, I assume it's much bigger scale.
So you think it's just a different game and no longer a remake?
I think it's still going to be a Prince of Persia remake. Concept-wise, like this is the same story, but now it's like an open world or something like that.
So it's not a remake.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I've been having this nightmare that the only way you get to play this Prince of Persia game is by booting up the Assassin's Creed Ultra game
Right.
and selecting it from the menu.
Yeah, that
I
would.
keep waiting for them to try and combine those franchises.
I want them to stay far from doing that.
Like I keep waiting because they already started doing the okay, we can do supernatural shit if we frame it as a glitch in the Animus,
It's just so lame.
or if
Yep.
we just don't care and say it because I think they moved past that even to well every Assassin's Creed in the game is now an Animus game somebody's playing from Abstergo, so we can just put in fucking inaccurate shit and say it's part of this game inside the universe of Assassin's Creed. So I'm really waiting for just the prince to show up in like Assassin's Creed Mirage.
It's so goofy they feel they need to do that. I was like, guys, your game's about like aliens from Mars or something coming to Earth.
That
like,
part's real.
Well,
Like-
that's science.
no.
That's science, Bob. That's science.
Yeah,
That's science. Like how that Spider-Man 2 comic, Peter has to go. Listen, Miles. Yes, Mr. Negative turns into a fucking shadow demon and turns other people into shadow demons, but that is not magic. It is science, Miles. Magic does not exist.
Yeah, and that's the same thing of like, yeah, Medusa's scientific. Sure, I'll buy that.
Man, I can't wait to see where these chuckle fucks came down on the witch trials.
Speaking of games that are never fucking coming out, that seems to be the KOTOR remake.
Yep. I mean, they restarted development on that. This is the same story about two different things at two different companies.
It sure is. It sure is.
Man.
Except this time it was Sony who for some reason went, yeah, that we can trust them. We'll put our money into them.
Yeah, they were not a tried and true
They
studio
hadn't
for doing
made anything, I don't think.
They had
Like, they
done
hadn't-
stuff, but it was very, very like minimal, and it was nowhere near this scale. The fact they were trusted to remake KOTOR is insane.
Yeah, it was. They had done ports. I don't think they had wholesale
Yeah.
developed anything.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, you gotta have your shot at some point.
right. Yeah, that's
Like,
fair.
I feel
I'd
like you're-
rather
I
the
feel like
giant umbrella companies hand out cash to randos and see if one of them works than it never happened. But when you tank projects that are like really cool like this, yeah, no, that's
Your
Yeah.
shot
sad.
should start smaller than AAA.
It should start smaller than remaking a classic
Right.
Yeah.
Super well
in a
known.
new
With
higher fidelity.
At a Sony tier, because Sony was
Right.
like, "Yes, we'll take that and help fund it." And the leader of Aspyr was like asked about it, or maybe it was Embracer. I think they're involved somehow. I think they own Aspyr, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
Embracer was involved. Yeah.
They were just like, it was during that thing where we'll go into the Embracer thing next, but it was like, I don't know. Don't ask fucking me when that game's coming out.
Man.
I think, and then somebody's like, yeah, according to insiders, like they might be able to get it out in 2025, maybe.
Hey, cool. That's more optimistic than I thought.
Right, because I figured it was a full reboot of development, and it'd be like, no, there's
Yeah.
That's more optimistic than I guess you could be about either other Star Wars project right now. That being the Ubisoft one,
Mm-hmm.
and
the David Cage one.
the David Cage one.
Mm.
man.
Yeah, but I guess it lines up 2025 because you got to think they restarted the development 8 months ago when they swapped who was doing it, because that happened right before the Game Awards, like in the month leading up to that, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
that's why we knew to not see it there, which is why it never even occurred to me that we would see it at the showcase we saw.
What do we know who took over for it?
Yes, but I don't care, so it's not in my brain.
Let me look.
Yeah, I was like, is this a like reputable dev this time?
It is more reputable than the last one, as far as I understand it. Yeah.
God, who is developing it now?
No idea. I can look that up if you want to move on to the next news thing. That is
Saber
incredibly known.
Interactive.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They've been around for fucking
They
ever.
have.
So this isn't a new studio. Boop.
So Embracer, we talked about this like a year ago, or I don't remember how long ago. It was a while back, where they were in talks for a $2 billion deal to make a bunch of shit for somebody, and this week that fell through. Apparently, all the ink was dry. All that was left was like, we both need to sign our names at the bottom of this document. Everything has been resolved except for that one step. And then the other side went, "Oh, we gotta go.
Yeah.
We gotta go get some cigarettes."
Yeah.
And they just ducked out. And then Embracer stock in response to this collapsed by 40%.
Jesus.
Yeah, the CEO within a day, like later the day this was announced, was on like getting interviewed and stuff, and you could tell the dude was just not happy. I think I have a photo of that. Yeah, that's
God damn it.
that's basically how he looked the entire interview. Handsome guy though.
And a lot of people, including me now, seem to think that their partner was Microsoft, which
Yeah, I was
would line up
wondering,
pretty well with like,
based on the
okay, we're
timing.
now drastically changing direction after this fucking Redfall thing. Our current marketing and alignment and like industry identity isn't working out. We need to pivot.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. You say Redfall. I think it was really the larger punch is the CMA thing.
Yeah, probably.
They know what their fans don't. That winning that appeal is virtually impossible.
Right. Yeah, I assume they've internally given up on that, but they have to do it to show face.
I
save
said it
face.
before. I'll say it again. That appeal process sounds like, okay, you need to win an argument with your girlfriend. That you start with, you're not being rational.
And not only that, there's still the FTC in August, and something
Right.
that nobody wants to tell you is that like there's this building energy even in the Senate, even with Republicans, of like, fuck these fucking tech companies.
Mm-hmm.
We need to, like, the what is his fucking name? Josh Hawley, the fucking psychopath from Missouri, got up and was like, we need to hammer these guys. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
you're like the most Naziest Senate member I could think of.
That's an impressive thing for you to say, Chris.
I mean, he ain't wrong.
Yeah, we kind of started turning on them because we gave them all the rope in the world and it didn't benefit our society or anything at all. So,
but yeah, I think like some recent poll was like, yeah, 70% of Americans support stronger antitrust regulations and breaking these companies down more.
yeah.
So it definitely seems like we're heading down the angle of like, yeah, we kind of let venture capitalists strip mine America. We should probably walk that back.
Yeah, so they realize that's probably not going to go well, so they probably didn't want to sign up to spend $2 billion doing something with Embracer, who knows what, when they're really looking down the barrel of having to pay Activision, what was it, $4 bill or $7 bill? Like, I think it was $4 for the failure of the acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm even wondering if it's less of a don't want to now and can't. Like, based on the timing, this was, hey, by this date, we're going to own Activision.
That
so
might
do you
also
want to
be
do
it.
this shit with some stuff we will own at the time? And they had to bail because, whoops, we can't have them now.
I mean, that's true. That's entirely possible.
It could even be like it could have happened if the CMA hadn't also tacked on, you can't do shit with each other.
The most fucked up, like, double tap Batman. Jesus. Yeah. That man looked destroyed in that interview. I'm not a sadist, but man, you don't get to see CEOs come out and just look like their dog was shot, like they're John Wick, very often. Yeah.
This is a very minor thing, but Cortana's dead.
No, not again.
Cortana's dead. Microsoft Windows 11's new AI bullshit assistant thing is no longer called Cortana. It's now called Copilot.
Yeah, what a great name.
Wow.
Because they don't even consider Halo valuable enough to keep that name there. Like, remember Cortana?
Yeah, which canonically kind of makes sense. I believe it was Justice Zag who pointed out to me on Twitter that she would have been rampant by now anyway, so they had to put her down. Just makes sense.
Like, is this just a rename, or did they come up with a new product?
They're posing it as this is a new product.
Well, because either way, it's hilarious to me. Because on the one hand, if it's just a rename, it's whoops, we killed Halo, self-dunk. If it's a new product, like, hey, we made a new AI that does the same thing Cortana does. Hey, you remember that scene at the end of the last Halo game where there was a new AI that does the same thing Cortana does? I wonder what we should name it.
It has it like its description is the same, and I don't think Cortana is in Windows 11 at all. So it really seems like just this is the new one.
Yeah.
We kill everything we touch.
I need to not talk about Halo every week. We had to talk about it because of the book last week. God.
And finally, Disgaea 7 comes out on October 3rd in America.
Keep
for
going.
everything except Xbox. Because...
How did you determine that? Show me the numbers.
Actually, I can tell you, Jez Corden of Windows Central, how we determined that. They determined that because Xbox still does that fucked up thing where if you don't sell enough, they fine you.
They still do that?
Maybe they don't still do it, but like in 2014, Nippon Ichi was like, "That's why we don't ship on Xbox. We would be happy to ship on Xbox if we didn't know that. Like, we don't think there's an audience there, but we would still do it if." They weren't going to fucking hit us for not selling enough.
If we didn't have to cut off a finger to take a seat at the high table, right, of Xbox. Holy shit. Yeah, where's the outrage for this? Jez, where is it? You should be jezzing all over Twitter, being like,
Where's the numbers? Show me.
What are you doing? Disgaea is an important story franchise, unlike Inspector Gadget in the year 2023.
I need to know about this cat printy.
This is important.
Anyways, that's it for everyone's individual news. Now we're getting into the summer game events. We're going to cover the more recent and smaller one first, the Marvelous Game Showcase. Woo! They opened with some stuff we saw before, Fashion Dreamer. You remember that? It showed up at a Nintendo Direct. It's got fashion. Moving on. Project Magia. Or I believe they pronounced it Magia. But anyway, they have themes for these games. Core themes. And they tell us what these evoke. For Project Magia, it is a new frontier. Does anyone have anything they want to say about Project Magia before I move on?
It's Hiro Mashima, the artist of Fairy Tail, is doing the designs.
That's like literally all we know.
That's all we know. They showed here's the new version of Natsu that's in this game, and here's the new version of Lucy that's in this game.
I wish that it was any other manga artist from Shonen Jump. Basically,
he's not
any
even
of them
in
would be an
Shonen Jump.
upgrade.
Oh,
he's not. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, Fairy Tail's not a Jump series.
Also,
I
Bob-
think it's a weekly Shonen Sunday series.
Oh,
Bob,
well, then we can take any of those because then we get like Takahashi, we get Detective Conan, we got all
I'm
sorts of
sorry,
great
Bob.
artists.
I'm sorry. We just needed them to go, here are the two main characters. That guy from that anime and another fat stack of tits. It's just something very weird about, like, I feel like most modern anime designs don't draw tits like that. So when I saw that character, I'm like, wait, this is, and then my brain misplaced it as Seven Deadly Sins at first. And then I was like, no, I mean Fairy Tail. Which is weird because I saw a bit of Seven Deadly Sins for our GigaBoots recording. I've seen zero Fairy Tail.
Right.
Is this good? Poll going up now. Next up, Project Life is RPG with the core thought theming. Life.
They know fuck all about this.
We're
They showed
making a
3
game
pieces of concept
Marvelous
art.
has never made before. A new kind of game. Spends 5 minutes describing what an RPG is.
Even mentions Japan's great history of making JRPGs and how cool that is. But we got a really good look at some things, right, Bob?
Yeah, that's what I'd say we got with Story of Seasons.
We got I was going to say, we got a very thorough look at those 3 pieces of concept art for Project Life is RPG.
Yeah, they panned over them 5 times at least.
Each for 10 minutes or so. It was insane. Next, we have a Story of Seasons game where the core event or thought or theme or whatever is experiences. They called it a Story of Seasons game you can play with everyone, and they showed us the grass and a cow and dogs playing in the yard, and they had nothing to announce. I genuinely thought, oh, wow, this is a GameCube remake? Great, cool. And then they were like, no, this is a multiplayer one. I'm like, what? But you're about to ship. I'm so confused. That's cool. That's cool. That's neat. Moving on. Rune Factory, and we have to clarify, Project Dragon is the first one, with the theming of East and West for the 2 of these, because there is also Rune Factory 6. Rune Factory 6, let's cover everything we know. There's a 6 in the title. Right? Its logo looks like a Rune Factory logo. That is all we know, except for it's supposed to be the one that's themed West.
Yes.
And then,
which was apparently all the previous Rune Factory games.
Yes. Yes, Cortana is still dead. We're mourning her. Shut up. Jesus. Give it time, chat. We can't get over it already. She was an important character. Project Dragon is really cool. It has dragons. It's really cool. It's a Rune
It looks
Factory
really
game.
high rent for a fucking Rune Factory game.
Yeah, I guarantee that game's gonna have some performance problems on PC involving stuttering. Just looking at it, it looks like it's just high enough fidelity to be like, uh-oh.
God, it looks so much better than the last Rune Factory game. It's hard to even think it's the same series.
Yes, it looks radically more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rune Factory 5 looked like a PSP game.
It looked better than that, but you got to think about Rune Factory 4 to 5 to 6. It's like each time is an insane amount more money and budget.
Yeah.
When I say like PSP game, I more just mean like the scope and like the presentation was very similar to a PSP game. Like I'm just looking at footage of this girl lifting a cow above her head and slamming it down multiple times. I'm like, yeah, that's indistinguishable from a PSP animation.
But yeah, I'm really worried that this will be the end of my Rune Factory Story of Seasons games running really well on my PC because of Unreal Engine shenanigans. But we'll have to see. They also announced Daemon Ex Machina Titanic Scion. No theme word.
No.
Because it ended the conference. This was their mystery reveal. Because they did a really weird thing. They announced every game they would talk about except for Daemon Ex Machina. They're getting a game they announced years ago, unlike several things they talked about. Daemon Ex Machina is cool. That's it.
Yeah, the CG trailer really didn't tell us anything.
Yeah. Everything we know about it, we already
Maybe
knew.
the sequel will have half the shit that the first one was supposed to have.
PlayStation Showcase. We finally got to see the Studio Haven game. Fair Games. It's a competitive heist game, live service. We got to see Helldivers 2.
We didn't get to see it. We saw a CG trailer.
Bob, I'm going to use that phrase abusively throughout this so I can quickly get from one thing to another. Helldivers 2, we saw a Starship Troopers-like tone for a recruitment video at the beginning, which was very funny.
So glad that wasn't just me.
That was direct mimicry.
Yeah, we were convinced it was a Starship Troopers game.
Because one was announced already. And then they showed actual gameplay of it being a third-person shooter on the surface of a planet while you shoot aliens.
Looks pretty rough.
It's running a little bad. I need them to show mechanics like the numbers and the loot and the other things, because this can't rest on the laurels of just the kinetic gameplay. That's not what Studio's first third-person shooter is going to be.
No.
I'm sorry. But anyway. Hopefully that's good. We have no idea. Thanks, Sony. Immortals of Avium arrived. We don't know why. We already saw this, but they're like, hey, EA, high five. Anyone have anything to say? Good.
You shouldn't have done it.
Ghost Rider 2 got shown off, and it looked really cool as they ran a motorcycle down the side of a building. It looked like Ghost Runner. Imagine Ghost Runner. You got it. If you have things to say, just shout them out. They showed this game called Phantom Blade Zero. This, chat, I will preempt by saying, because this is distinctly important, because this is the one of the show. This is one of those China Super games where the animations look directly one-to-one choreographed martial arts, like, what is the term for that sort of sword play? There's a specific, like, wuxia.
Wushu?
Wuxia, yeah.
Wuxia, yeah.
Wuxia.
Very cool, very one-to-one. And it looks sick as shit. I hope that game's real at all. We didn't even get a year.
God, I hope it's real. Like I was skimming the VOD to catch some reactions, and one of the quotes I pulled was Dan going, "Oh man, Aggro's probably popping a boner right now." I'm like, I am so hard for this.
Yeah, it looked unbelievably raw.
I looked up afterwards the developer and stuff, and apparently it's an indie developer from China who made mobile phone games in the same universe, and this is like their reboot of like, this is what I actually wanted to make, and all the mobile phone games looked like really bad in 2D, and now I guess they have the money to try this, so hopefully that goes well.
Hopefully. Sword of the Sea is a game from the devs of Abzu that looks Journey-esque, right? This is the one with the sand in the desert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you like ride around on your hover sword.
Yeah, pretty cool. Not much else to say. You know what? I'm going to jump ahead. Neva is a game by the devs of Gris, so we were not excited.
I do not remember what Gris is.
It's not much. Imagine holding right and a game plays out in front of you and then it ends and it's less than an hour and 20 minutes long.
But it was very pretty.
It was pretty pretty.
Was this the Wolf Deer game?
No.
Okay.
This was 2D, I believe. 2D gameplay at bare minimum. What's up, Bob?
I think it was the Wolf Deer game.
I just don't remember this Wolf Deer.
I just
aspect
googled
to
Neva
this
and it's the Wolf Deer.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm talking about. I thought you were asking about Gris.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Yes, this game is the Wolf Deer game from the show. It looked really cool, but then it's from the developers of Gris, so it didn't fire at all for me. Talos Principle 2.
Are you fucking kidding me? Really? How big is this game? How did the Talos Principle get a giant ass sequel? What?
They're like, just to be clear, this is not an add-on like thing. It is not this smaller thing. It is huge. It is changing what it means. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, you guys. The fact you made a sequel is already insane. Yeah, so that actually looked really cool. That looked really, really cool. Okay. Foam Stars, a Splatoon-like from Square Enix. You shoot foam instead of ink and walk atop the foam, and it can stack vertically.
Right up until the gameplay started, I thought to myself, now, I don't think I know what any of the non-Final Fantasy VII characters in Ahergis look like. That could be what this is.
All right.
That trailer had to have the hardest cut from CG to gameplay I have ever experienced.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty, you could feel it in that moment.
It had good music.
Yeah.
I really hope they're smart
might have been
enough.
the game that got us claimed.
I hope they're smart enough to just go, yeah, this one's free to play. We're not trying to charge you $60 on top of this being.
Yeah, that's the move.
You need to sometimes you need to announce your business plan along with these awful game genres.
Sadly, we're at that point, yeah, with Square at very least.
Yeah,
because they Chocobo Chibi could have been successful, but it was $60. Babylon's Fall probably couldn't have been successful, but it would have lived longer if it was free.
I'm gonna skip around a bit to make the rest of this go faster. Okay.
All right.
Final Fantasy 16 showed up again. That trailer looked great, but I'm already buying that game and already interested in it. So, Street Fighter 6, same deal.
Yep. It was a good trailer, but I don't need that.
You know what?
Yeah.
We'll keep up with this as the common trend. We had a VR block. They showed off Synapse again. That game that they showed off 3 months ago, I believe, for PSVR 2, looked cool then, and now they're just like, but David Hayter's in it. And I couldn't hear it because the speakers were on the floor. But that is cool, and I'm really glad that game's coming out like next month and the month after. Where's that? Okay, it's not written. But it's either, I think it's July.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks cool, and it's not based on a book that confuses me at the very notion of how they did that. PSVR was out today. Or sorry, Beat Saber on PSVR 2 was out today. Some people,
now it's a VR console.
Now it's a real headset. It's got a Queen pack. So I had to mute the stream, and I still didn't avoid it because apparently some game used a Kavinsky song. And actually there were 2 other songs too. I have no idea what's up with those. They showed off a Crossfire game. Crossfire Sierra Squad, which was also a VR game, and I just spent the whole time going, why do you not look as good as you did on your posts and trailer on the PlayStation blog? Oh, you're not that game. You're not Firewall, whatever. You're Crossfire. Crossfire.
On the massive Chinese success, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been told it makes $10 hojillion a year. Resident Evil 4 Remake VR was shown. No date, no nothing, no year. But they showed gameplay, and it looked cool. It looks way more fun than Village. Expected. And then they showed the worst part of the fucking VR block was Arizona Sunshine 2.
God.
For like 4 seconds, I'm like, is this serious Sam VR? Oh no, this is some aggressively uninteresting, incredibly generic bullshit. Thank you.
It's in the West. Your main character's snarky and funny. He has a dog, and there are zombies, and you get to have fun killing zombies moments. This whole thing's pre-rendered, though, so it's just, hey, get excited to possibly do these things to a zombie's face in gameplay. And I'm like, but it's pre-rendered.
Yeah, so
it
who
will
knows?
not look anything like this.
Right.
So, yeah, that was kind of the worst thing in that block. And that even includes the game that tried to get us claimed. You want to talk about the worst thing of the night, though? Concord. What is it?
Has a neat aesthetic.
It had a neat aesthetic. Apparently, it's a live service game. How were we supposed to know? They didn't show shit.
Yeah, it was the trailer like the freaking Contraband trailer from
Yes.
Xbox. It's like, we just panned over a CG room we made. It's like, I don't care.
At least the CG room's a spaceship, so it has any amount more detail than Contraband.
Yes.
Because Contraband could literally be anything, and I couldn't be like, that doesn't make sense with that trailer. It's like, yeah, it does. Anything does.
Yeah.
Did they steal a thing or stop a thing from being stolen? Yeah, that fits with Contraband. Fuck it. Meanwhile, this, it's like, wait, why isn't this in space? There are things they could do to buck this trailer, but this is the worst trailer of the night. No details, no excitement, no words, nothing. But you know, it's not a real trailer. It's a product announcement for Project Q, the giant 1080p screen slapped in the middle of a DualSense, like it's the GameCube keyboard controller, so you can remote play on your own Wi-Fi. Seemed to be the explicit thing it's for.
Yep.
Like, that's cool. I'm sure someone out there that really means a lot to them. I've heard of people who love the Switch because they can play it while their wife or significant other or whatever is asleep or using the TV to do a thing, and it's a much smaller screen and much more contained experience.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a whole market segment? I literally don't know.
I like, this is a risky bet that's gonna come down to price point.
Yeah. What do you think
And-
is a fair price point?
Oh, I think the better question is, how cocky do we think Sony is right now?
Oh, unbelievably.
Right.
I don't think they can price this low enough to not bomb.
I think they could, but they won't.
They definitely won't.
Like
Right.
this
This is
comes
a
off as an
$500
even-
floor.
This is even stupider than the Series S to me. Like, I feel like we're going to see very similar, it's great for the bedroom
But at least this will
defenses of it.
cost.
Will it cost less than the Series S? The Series S goes for about
We need to do
$250 now. if
we
you
need
look.
to do the gamer premonition right here, right now. Instead of saying what you think the price should be at, you know what? Say both. Say what price you think it should be first, and then the real premonition, what they will sell it at. We're gonna go ahead and start with Dr. Agro. What price should it be?
This thing, honestly, if you wanted to be a sane person, this thing should not top 275. Hardline. I don't think it's going to come out for less than 450.
There's no way.
Chris.
There's no way. Yeah.
They should charge $200 for it. Because remember, you have to have a PS5 to use it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like-
a good Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
which is not
They're
a thing everyone
probably gonna.
has.
They are. I see 300, and that seems like the floor of what they could charge.
Bob.
I think that they should no world charge more than 150 for this. Like, this is a screen and a controller.
And Wi-Fi chips and a battery
Mm-hmm.
and a touch screen because it needs to do the touchpad stuff
Right.
and Wi-Fi chips and stuff.
So
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just explaining.
there's a few more
It
little
even
things,
has
but there's no
adaptive
gaming
triggers and-
hardware. There is no like GPU, any of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't feel like it should be more than 150
Okay.
or maybe 170 at the top of the line.
What are they launching?
They're
at?
going to charge like 300 for this. Low is 280. I think is the lowest I could see them charging.
Okay. I'm gonna say they're charging 300. I did this reverse though. They should charge 200. I think it will move units at 200 and it'll lock people into their ecosystem. It'll work, right? Because you don't need to profit on the platform. You need to have people have a thing that makes them want to stick with your platform.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, in a sense, this is like the PSVR 2. This is a new way for people to get engaged and into your ecosystem, locked in. Like, I can't sell my PS5 and keep the headset anymore. I would
No.
have to sell the headset, and then I go to Xbox and it's not analogous. They don't have a headset. So I lose that. That needs to be what this is. This needs to be $200 and it could move units because I know there's a market for that. I mean, shit, man, look at the DualSense Edge. It's 250
Mm-hmm.
and it sells. I don't think they should, but
Right.
it does. So once again,
Yeah.
the rundown of what we expect the price to be is I think they're charging 300 because they're going to fuck up Bob.
300.
because they're gonna fuck up.
Yeah.
Aggro.
I'm really pessimistic on this one. I can't go lower than 4.
No, I get that. There is a
That
world
would
where
be
they do that.
insane. 400 would be like an apocalyptic level.
Yeah,
of
that's what they
bombing.
charge for the disk driveless system
Guys,
PS5, isn't it?
Guys, yes, one, that, two. It's almost the price of the VR. It's right. It's
yeah,
getting
no,
there.
that's like no. They don't want to damage the pristine enthusiast tier image of the brand by
Mhm.
selling something for less.
And Chris.
Yeah, it's probably going to be 300.
So there you go. If they charge under 300, they will surprise our committee and be like, "Oh, Sony's not completely insane, still going to bomb because it can't stream it to other places,"
Right.
which is what people will see it and immediately want.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like, I guess there are some people who theoretically would be like, I'll pull out that instead of the Switch if I'm in bed or whatever.
Yeah, that's a market.
But man, they're not gonna be like, it's gonna be worse than the Switch. Like, it's gonna be worse than a dedicated platform in terms of performance and everything. Unless you have really good Wi-Fi, and even then it'll probably still be worse.
Yeah, you relying
So-
on people's home networks is never a winning bet.
So yeah, just like I can't see very many people wanting to bite on this.
Like there's a more nightmare scenario here where they say it is a Wi-Fi only streaming device.
Okay.
But I would not put it past them to put like a phone chipset in there and release like a small catalog of Q device only mobile games. Like try
No.
that shit again.
No, there's no way they do something that insane.
I don't know. I feel like they're in a place right now where they may have some executives may have gone down to the sub basement with the golden key and broken out the PS3 era gas.
Jim Ryan just
huffing.
releases it.
Now would be the time, since they affect. Now would be the time that would happen, considering Xbox literally said, "We can never ever defeat you."
Really perfect. We can now screw up in every way, and there's nothing they can do.
Yup.
Oh, I see a note in here that they did not announce the PS5 Slim.
Yeah, it's always possible they could. I feel like if they're going to announce such a thing, it will be like a month before it's available at most.
That's true. I feel like they would probably do that like a Gamescom or something. They did announce the earbuds for PlayStation.
Although, when did they announce the Pro versus when it came out? I get that that's a different thing, but
I remember it was several months ahead of time because it was a lot of like come out already. Didn't they announce the Slim and the Pro at the same time or something? No, maybe not.
What's that?
We're trying to remember the when they announced the Pro compared to when that released for the PS4.
It was immediate. Like, it came out 2 months after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did it
Yeah,
in
it was-
September.
it was
long.
September.
it was 2 weeks after they showed off the Slim existed, that it was that you could buy it.
Yeah, the Slim was like frame one, basically. The Pro was 2 months out.
Okay.
Because September showcase, if I remember correctly, November launch.
Although if they're gonna do that, I bet so the start of September is when they would show off a Slim. I feel like, because it's like, now you can get it with Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I think they announced in August with Gamescom.
Right. That's what I was saying too.
You know, England's doing the whole like our prices on power are going insane. If they really market this as a power conscious, lower cost PlayStation.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Then I think it really makes sense. And then they get it positioned for Spider-Man.
And I think a lot of people want something smaller than the PS5.
There's some real energy of, and I'm pretty sure most people would like a bigger butt than that. And Bob points at a plank of wood, literally a plank of wood. yeah, I think people want something a little bit smaller than this gigantic fucking thing that's bigger than almost every console ever.
Yeah.
Almost. I want to say, though, and this isn't that important, but I just need to shoot this out real quick. The wireless earbuds have been claimed as having low latency and lossless audio. And as far as I know, the Bluetooth specs that support that are kind of bad and have disconnects and shit. So I'm very curious how that's going to go. Because that is a specification of Bluetooth, which no Apple product supports. Even the $500 AirPod Pro Max that are just headphones like these, but wireless. God. But yeah, a lot of people like the Sony tech they got going on in the wireless earbud, wireless headphone space.
Oh yeah,
maybe. Yeah,
they made a cool case for it.
Yeah, hopefully that case is as cool as it looked in that fucking video, because it was like, and I'm like, it's just gonna come off completely. It's not gonna slide a little. It's just gonna come off, and I'm gonna be like, oh, this went from cool to shitty
after a month. Yeah.
So maybe, who knows? That will be neat. You guys cool moving on? And what's up?
That just reminded me of my electric toothbrush. Started not holding the head for the toothbrush well anymore. So now it's in my mouth, and just that part comes out, and I just have the
oh my God.
It's awful.
The head of your fucking electric toothbrush is coming out in your mouth?
Yes.
You replaced it though, right?
This started happening like 2 days ago. So
okay. I was gonna say that sounds like a head side problem. I've never had this problem on the handle.
I've onto 2 heads now.
Oh,
so it's not that. I have no idea what's going on.
Okay, that's what I was talking about with replacing the heads. Never mind. I've never had that problem. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Okay, all right. Well, don't choke on that, Bob.
Right?
Chat will be so sad if you choke to death on a toothbrush. The news won't understand. They won't cover the nuances of the story. They'll just be like, this dumbass gamer choked on the toothbrush.
Where's my Oral-B lawsuit?
I don't know, but you can't make it because you're dead.
Twitch streamer dies in crazy new trend.
Everyone on TikTok's doing it too. We're going to do the smaller stuff before we really just hit the large things that are left, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Towers of Agazba is an open world fantasy game with crazy monsters and environments.
I can't remember this.
People seemed
This
pretty...
is the one that looked like Kenna.
Yes.
Oh,
where you
for
were
just
like,
a moment.
This is Kenna.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't look that Kenna. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You got the guy with the really weird looking face mask that we were saying looked like Dark Cloud.
Yes, he had. That is deliberate. It is a game
Yeah,
where
no,
you're
I was
rebuilding
waiting
a
for Dark
town.
Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yellow shawl. Fuck you. You know what you're doing. Thank you. I will buy this now. Revenant Hill, a new game from the Night in the Woods devs. We know literally nothing, but we got to see a cat that looks exactly like the cat character from that.
It's not animal people again. That's all. That's really all you got from the trailer.
There might be some Pinkertons.
Yeah, it had a little bit of that energy.
Yeah, there's people aiming guns at labor unions in the background of the shot. Let's see. I think that's it for small news. We'll just go from the top to the bottom now. Then again, let's get Dragon's Dogma out of the way now because it's so depressing.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob. They showed off Dragon's Dogma
They
too.
sure did, in a way that did not really promote anything I'd want to know about Dragon's Dogma 2. It kind of came off as Dragon's Dogma 1 HD.
It really did.
Sure did.
Yeah, that is how it looked.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to know that there's a story this time. I want you to do some cool cutscenes. I want to see cool new powers. And it's like, what if we showed you all stuff you could do in the first game? I'm like, but there are cat people now.
There are cat people, so it's cool. It's cool. It's now like Morrowind. That's the coolest thing in Morrowind, in my opinion. That, and they have lizard people that literally look like Rahab, and that's the funniest shit in the world to me.
I don't think the cat people in Dragon's Dogma will be all addicted to crack like the cat people in Morrowind.
Probably not. That seems really specific.
Imagine they did this trailer and they're like, Dragon's Dogma 2, and it's just like that weird guy from Oblivion who's just like, halt, criminal! Like, really? You batted a weird NPC in a bad camera to zoom in on his face?
Yeah. God, this was so depressing. This isn't how they should have brought back Dragon's Dogma. What are you doing?
Yeah, that was a bad announcement. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, like
Maybe.
I went back and looked up announcement trailers for Dragon's Dogma 1. I was like, this is like the same thing, but way better done.
Yeah.
It does get to be a whole minute longer, so maybe they just needed to not make a single minute in a 30-second trailer. Maybe they need more time, but man, That was lame.
Yeah. I wish they did better. I'm still excited for that game, but that didn't give me anything to be excited about.
Yep.
Metal Gear Solid Delta: Snake Eater announced. It's a remake of Snake Eater.
What?
It is not PS5 exclusive. It is hobby grade enthusiast remake. Original voice actors confirmed.
Which was weird because Hader implied he wasn't in it, and then they just said, "Yeah, he is."
Yeah, I
He's
assume
like,
it's,
that's news to me.
yeah, I assume it's because they're just using the original voice clips, which is lame. Because if you're gonna make a remake, make it a fresh experience. Make them deliver the lines again.
That's insane.
It seems insane for it to be them to be using the same voice lines, considering the other things they said.
Okay. I'm just being. That's what that comes off as to me. I hope that is not
the
the
wording
case.
is weird enough that I could totally read it that way too.
Yeah. They said Delta was chosen because it represents change and difference without altering the structure.
And then I said, "Bullshit! You picked it because it's a fucking triangle.
What's the importance of
It
a
has
triangle there?
It has 3 sides.
Oh.
You don't have to call it Metal Gear Solid 3 and fuck up all the databases, like how you can't buy Prey anymore because Prey now takes up that slot."
Yeah, that sucks.
At the same time, I assume they'll keep doing this for if they do remake 1 and 2 and 4. And
Yeah,
all
I
that.
think this is a branding thing personally, where they're just going to remake 2 next. And I'm like, oh, you remember all those people telling you you're remaking one of the best games ever? They're wrong. Now you're remaking one of the best games ever made.
You think they'd make 2 next?
Yeah.
I
Hell
figured
yeah.
they'd go chronological and then do 3, 1, and 2.
Yeah, they could do that too.
The last
could
thing
do
we
that.
want is chronological, because that means 3 Peace Walker, 3 Portable Ops Peace Walker.
I assume
5.
they'll just not do any of that, any of those
Yeah,
things between. Just do
Dude, hear me out. Just find a way to make Peace Walker a Metal Gear game.
that would be ideal. Like if they
that'd be great.
transform those into Metal Gear games instead of that bizarre nightmare they are.
Yeah, the structural weirdness.
Konami has their own fucking sales numbers. It's like, okay, let's look at the first 3. Okay, all over 7 million. Let's look at Peace Walker and those other bullshit ones. Oh, maybe we'll stick with remaking the ones that sold a shitload already.
At the end of this, I hated this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you why. For the people who haven't seen it, or if you're listening to this way in the future and you don't want to go back and watch it again, it opens on a forest creature, another forest creature. They're eating each other. Keeps going, keeps evolving, blah, blah, blah. And then there's Snake's face, and then it ends. This is the worst trailer for Metal Gear. And I saw someone in chat be like, what about Survive? I'm like, Survive blew my fucking mind. A time tornado grabbed a random soldier, and they're like, this guy's story. And I'm like, what? That had more impact than showing this very one-to-one, very directly modeled on the original PS2 model, but higher fidelity version of Naked Snake. It does nothing for me. He doesn't speak, which means it's competing for the only other trailer I can think of where no one talks in a Metal Gear trailer, the one where Snake and Raiden compete for the chair.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Which was amazing.
is gold. That's a golden fucking trailer. Allegedly a trailer for Metal Gear Solid 4.
I had a weird time the first time through with this trailer because, you know, with like the bird lands on the thing and then the snake comes up for the bird and then the alligator bites the snake and then the snake comes back around for the alligator. I kind of missed the snake the first time. I looked away. So when the snake came back around, it just looked like the head and neck of a plesiosaur.
Yeah.
And after the electric fence, I'm like, okay, this is some kind of Jurassic Park game.
Right,
And
yeah.
the naked snake pops up, and I'm like,
This is the greatest crossover event of a generation.
Da-da-da. I want to see Naked Snake break the neck of a fucking velociraptor.
I mean, you fight dinosaurs in Peace Walker because they do that crossover with Monster Hunter.
So clearly all we want is for them to fix Peace Walker.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
yeah, fix Peace Walker. Updated, you know, do some new textures, maybe
maybe remove a couple of things that happen in Peace Walker.
Bob's like, what problem with the time oh no. And that's a part of Metal Gear we're not going to talk about. Moving on.
It's like, maybe we don't need any more than one game with Naked Snake. Maybe we don't.
That's true, but it's too late for that now. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 is out in autumn. Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3. We have HD versions of 2 and 3. 3 has the Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2 MSX games.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah, that's cool.
1 seems to be the original resolution, and I'm really curious exactly for Metal Gear Solid 1 what they're doing there. Like, what is the simulator?
Yeah.
What are the features of it? What should I expect from this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I assume 2 and 3 are just the ones that already exist. They just made them work.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, they confirmed that they are the HD collection version.
Yeah, they're the Blue Point Games Metal Gear, and those are good, especially now that we have hardware that can run them so well.
Right. Like now, those actually, those versions have like the substance and subsistence stuff in them, right?
I mean, there's nitty gritty on that. There may be something missing, and I don't want to be misquoted. At the very least, 3 does not have the multiplayer, which is a part of the subsistence thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, subsistence thing was also adding the camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course it's going to be that version. They did not re-release the original version of 3. That would be insane.
I had a great moment where I'm like, "Oh, sweet, a collection of what volume 1, and it's one. What's in volume 2? 4, 5,
Rising?
maybe acid."
Yeah, I think to just really fuck around with people, the next collection is Acid 1 and 2 and Peace Walker. We have to wait for 4.
It would be funny to see them do that. I'd love to. Honestly, all of these games should be on like
Modern
playable
platforms,
on modern platforms instead of locked away in various different boxes. So please.
Wasn't there a second mobile game? I mean, aside from Acid?
Portable Ops.
Yeah, that's
Acid
the
1 and 2. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if they'll ever re-release Portable Ops. I mean, they don't have to care anymore about what Kojima feels about it, which
That's
is
true.
liberating and great in a certain way. But then this trailer's like the worst Metal Gear trailer, so.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. Alan Wake 2. Max Payne's face is correct.
I can't believe he's here.
It's so good.
I'm so hyped for Max Payne now.
I'm so hyped
What
for
do you mean
Alan
this is
Wake
Alan Wake 2?
Yeah, you gotta wait for the Max Payne remake, which he will obviously look like this in.
Thank God.
I'm so excited. I'm so happy. What a good dub. It comes out October 23rd. It is digital only, bizarrely.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah,
Do
the
they think
excuses
gamers
they
would
gave-
trade it in? What is the reason?
I kind of think it's something weird with the Epic deal.
Yeah?
Yeah, that like they're like we're gonna try and push for all our shit to be digital.
Yeah, but that hasn't stopped any of the other Epic deals. Like, The Last of Us Part 1 is also an Epic deal, isn't it? 7 Remake was an Epic deal.
Yeah, but those are big companies that can say fuck off.
And you think 505 can't negotiate that?
Epic is this is Epic paying for the development of this game, I think. At least a big chunk of it.
I thought that was with...
Yeah, I didn't realize that was the deal here. Because
I thought that was only with the Max Payne remake.
I think that's with Control 2 in this also.
I see. Okay.
But their excuses were, well, this not this way. We can only charge $60. To which I say, Resident Evil 4 remake's right over there.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, on Epic Game Store they're charging $50. On other platforms they're charging $60. And so retail would already be upset because the Epic Game Store is a lower price, and retailers hate that shit.
Yeah.
But they've never given a shit about PC as much. Because even when console games went to 60, PC were still 50 for a long time.
No, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Like it's like if you ship a boxed version of the PC game to them, and then your digital's lower, I'm sure they'd get upset. But they can't really get upset that a version they're not selling is less. I mean, they could, but I don't think they would.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And the
either way, go ahead.
They gave one other excuse, which was Well, this way we don't have to. This way you won't need to download like a patch off, despite having a distance. Which I say you could just wait until the game was done.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
could
saw.
just wait.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Okay, I saw on Twitter THQ Nordic being like, "Hey, we could make a physical copy for you. You want to talk?
You want to talk? Hey, buddy.
Yeah, like
We'd like to make some money.
this make like I really want to play Alan Wake 2, but this makes me not want to get it because I'm like, are you just gonna do a physical version next year? Like
I
year
assume that's
anniversary?
exactly what they're gonna do. Like
So-
6 months
so yeah,
from now.
So yeah, it makes me not even want to fucking buy it.
In the context in which I'm going to get Alan Wake 2, I don't care, but I, of course, understand people caring. Whether or not this is the right move for them, I think this is the wrong move because this has dominated the conversation since they announced this news.
Yeah, it feels like 505 with Remedy's made games specifically keeps doing things that just
Fuck it up from a
Makes no
publisher side.
sense.
Yeah.
just like, yeah, it's obviously bad and gets people upset and doesn't seem to give them any positives.
And a THQ Nordic was probably being cheeky because
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Alone in the Dark, their Alone in the Dark remake is coming out in October. I think 2 days after Alan Wake.
Fuck. What? That's the
Yeah, they
remake of the
announced that-
360 game, right?
No, that's a
No,
brand
it's
new
a whole
reboot.
new thing. It's a whole.
Yeah.
It's a reboot. It's the Alone in the Dark reboot. It even has like actors as the two main characters.
Have I seen this trailer at any event ever?
I think
No, I
once.
think they only revealed it really today. Like they maybe showed like a teaser,
Yeah, they showed us something several months ago.
but today was the big reveal.
That's
yeah, and
funny.
then we're doing an Alan Wake showcase basically sometime in August around Gamescom. Not Alan Wake. Alone in the Dark.
Oh, God damn it, Bob. Alan Dark.
Yes, Alan Dark.
But
it's legal. They
David,
screamed over and over, naming their protagonist Alan Dark.
Jodie Corner and David Harbour are the two protagonists of this. Like those are the actors they cast. It's like their likenesses too.
Let's talk about Spider-Man 2 first. Spider-Man 2 looked sick, but it looked exactly like a Spider-Man with higher fidelity.
I feel like they showed off kind of more set PC segments than were in the original.
If you recall the Rhino scene where you're just riding Rhino through the fucking mall and you keep doing that fight that evolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Miles Morales or was that in Spider-Man 2018?
Yeah,
I think it was Miles Morales.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Miles.
Okay. I'm thinking of Miles.
But I'm trying to think of the big set PC things in the first one, because there is the one where you're chasing someone shoot downtown, and it's always evolving with you having to web up a chopper by the end of it. I think it was might have been the Shocker, maybe.
This also might be Miles Morales. Is that not the? Are there not sequences with character who Chris said the name of earlier that I've already forgotten, who has shadow lightning powers? Mr. Negative. Thank you, chat.
Mr. Negative,
Where
yeah.
you're leaping into buildings and running through office spaces and then leaping back out and catching up with the chopper.
Yeah, I think
Doing all the right.
There was that.
So they've done things like this. The thing for me, like what looks different about this, one is the instant Peter Miles switch.
yes,
Where they just go, I'm not going to make it in time. This is me. I'm Yuri Lowenthal. I'm being really hardcore with my black suit. I'm so cool.
So here's where I need to say, Shocker. They've confirmed that Shocker's in this game.
Yeah.
They have the opportunity to do the funniest thing they could
Oh my
possibly
God.
do.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I feel like they're almost certainly doing it.
They have to.
With his voice being that insane.
Uh-huh. They have to do it.
I am really excited to see how they do the goes crazy in black suit arc when you have the addition of Miles Morales
Yeah.
being right there to go, Peter, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Right.
I feel bad because people pointed out in that trailer when Peter saves one of the civilians from being hit, he lands and just throws the guy on the
dumps his
ground.
ass.
Yes.
And you just, what the? And he even takes a second to look at Spider-Man and be like, dude, what the fuck? And then runs. It's really good. Also, yeah, I agree with Aggro on that fucking Twitter take I saw where it's just like, yeah, it's really great. They're setting up, the symbiote suit, black suit Spider-Man, and Miles is going to be there to see it the whole time. And even though you can see it coming from space, that's going to destroy me. It's absolutely ruin me. I'm like, yeah, no, this is great. This is good. I'm excited. The gameplay itself seemed like a higher fidelity version of what you saw in the prior one. Really awesome, though, with the skiing shit, where he's just like flipping out of the way over and over, dodging a shed, I think was the name we figured it was by the end.
Wait, isn't it just
no.
Lizard?
It's the Lizard. Shed is the name of the comic story they seem to be adapting.
So what the fuck is the name of the lizard? The Lizard?
Yeah, the Lizard.
It's just the Lizard.
Yeah, the Lizard. Dr.
That's how it's
Connors,
always been, Dan. I'm sorry.
How would I know? I don't fucking read Spider-Man.
You watched Amazing Spider-Man with me.
That was his name in the movie?
Yeah.
The Lizard.
Yeah.
Bob, I saw the Amazing Spider-Man and I was caught up in so many things. I didn't even notice his name was The Lizard. Also worth noting, I fucking watched that movie like 2 years ago.
Right.
So late after, and I'm like, so this is a new generation's. This is their Toby.
Yeah,
I'm just not going to sit here and take this disrespect to the '90s Spider-Man cartoon. How dare you?
I watched
not have
that.
seen every episode of
I
that.
saw that in the '90s. I also have forgotten cheat codes since then. Believe it or not. Yeah, that trailer was neat. I'm excited for story things in that.
Yeah, we got to see gliding, and we also got to see
Craven.
Well, yeah, if I was gonna say for Spider-Man stuff, we saw that he has lots of cool powers along with the symbiote suit.
Yeah, tentacles.
Yeah, tentacles.
Lots of tentacles.
Yeah, I did see that Craven is wearing a vest that has some fur on it and a lion motif, and not a vest that is made out of a lion's face, because this video game was made by cowards.
Soindy over here. I do think it's funny. It's like the hunt begins. Now my paramilitary force go shoot a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Okay, and now, any last comments on the Spider-Man thing? We got to move on to Marathon.
I'm good.
So they showed off Marathon with a pre-rendered trailer and a QR code at the end to go discover more. Then after enough people were watching the stream, they debuted a Bungie vid doc, which is short for video documentary, on Marathon, explaining what Marathon is going to be. They still did not show the gameplay, but they showed some gamers really enjoying it in a way that they did for Halo super early on. You know, back in the day, Bungie would start the year with people sort of not showing you what's on the screen, maybe just the tiniest glimpse, as people were like, oh, that was a great, oh man, when that happened. And then all the creatives leads in the room at a round table talking about what the game is and all these other things. I watched that whole thing. Did anyone else here watch that video?
No, I did not see that.
Nope.
The more they described it, the more it's like, yeah, it's Escape from Tarkov. It's just, these guys got some shit. We're going to shoot them and take their shit.
And like, if you die, it's over.
They take your shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
They didn't
it's an
commit-
extraction shooter.
Yeah.
So, and the way those usually work is like, you're here, you need to get here. There's side objectives, and you pick up loot and stuff that is used to progress your character. Usually after the run, if you die, you lose all of it.
As I understand it, it's bigger scope than that in open world. Like
Yeah,
Tarkov,
it's like an open world type map.
Yeah, Tarkov is just a giant landscape. Here's the exciting stuff. I want to talk about the exciting stuff.
Okay, because right now it sounds very Battle Royale-esque.
Completely. Well, no, because Battle Royale is like a match you've played, and Tarkov has much more of a sense of.
Okay, so you
To me,
progress
it-
your character between
Yeah,
matches.
it feels like there's a character, a character that matters in other things. In that sense, this, by the way, if anyone hasn't fucking pieced it together, but no one on this podcast has played Tarkov.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
not
a
my
game. That's a
thing.
game. That's a really PCE game.
Anyway, in this case, they have completely dedicated servers, so you don't end up with all sorts of problems you get from instancing and other things that wouldn't work for this style of game in the least. You know, because normally you have peer-to-peer where you can have people cheating, you can have other things.
Mm-hmm.
This is relevant because I don't know the last time Bungie had dedicated servers for like a fully multiplayer experience. I feel like Destiny used a person as the host, and everything else did. But when they talk about it, it's really vague terms. But at very least, they were talking about the netcode and blah, 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 security, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're going to talk about it more. And the next time we talk about it, it'll be much closer to releasing and there will be an alpha. So it was fucking insane that they needed to do 2 different layers of reveal for that when you still don't get to see the game, but you get to see shitloads of concept art and everything else. This is possibly the least marathon thing they could have shown.
Yeah, they do that.
Honestly,
Marathon.
I don't know why they called it marathon, because they're Bungie. They could call it whatever they wanted.
Yes.
Right.
And it would get pop. Now there's just this shadow of like, why'd you call it why'd you even do it to upset the people who like marathon?
Right. For me, I'm a little disappointed because it's like I was hoping a marathon would be a new marathon.
Right. And I think that's how basically everyone who knows what marathon feels.
Uh-huh. It's really weird to think about this is the game.
Yeah.
This is the game that Sony threw in an insane amount of money for, and Tencent did too, I think.
It's crazy that it's like, why isn't that just the multiplayer mode and you're making a single player marathon game?
For all we know, they might be doing that. Here's my thing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why my tone is clearly more optimistic than everyone else's is because I really trust Bungie to make a fun-ass video game.
Mm-hmm.
The part that became a problem with Destiny is how they handled the content and what they did with the story as they went on. The core game feel of Destiny is great.
Right.
They banged up the fucking multiplayer with 2, and then they fixed that, and then they deleted the core game of 2. Destiny in and of itself would be a fine game if it weren't held down by the cement boots. Destiny has 6 feet, and they're all wearing cement boots. Which is why a Destiny 3 would have been a nice, clean slate that we're just not getting, seemingly. I have full confidence in this being fun. I have full confidence in this being something to look forward to. I still don't know, in the middle of this Sony conference that didn't have basically jack shit.
Yeah, especially if we're talking about just gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go broader than that.
Mm-hmm.
They showed Spider-Man 2, a game we've seen coming for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
We didn't have shit from Sony. So it's fucking weird to be like, check out Bungie's huge thing. We won't even have the VidDoc be a part of this.
Yeah.
Which, if they had done that, that would have actually helped the conference a bit.
Yeah, because coming out with what I saw there, I was like, that's a really cool CG trailer. I love all the art here. And then just the blog post of, it's some sort of shooter genre that's PvP focused you've never heard of. I'm like, okay.
Right.
Like,
right.
that does nothing for me.
Right. At the very least, all the art very clearly in what they were saying says the game is exactly the aesthetic shown in that trailer, where it is realistic but with really strong color choices and that nice aesthetic that you saw in that. And that's the good thing about Bungie. We don't have to worry about you boot the game and it looks nothing like this. Destiny looks exactly like the CG trailers but lower fidelity. So thank God at very least that exists. And I really am just placing my faith in Bungie to make another fun shooter because they have a long history of that. I still think it's frustrating as shit that they named this marathon, and frustrating as shit that this showcase sucked.
Yeah, the showcase was awful.
I think being one of the big 3, you should be doing better than this.
Mm-hmm.
Thus the strong use of language, and me bringing my C+ down to a C.
I really am getting this image from Sony that they've fallen into that trap that I feel like even Nintendo fell into real hard during the Wii. Of it's like, our brand is this thing, these things. We cannot show you a single thing that is outside that brand, or it'll scare you away somehow.
It's really bizarre because it feels sales driven, which, yeah, they're probably right. Like, people like that shape of game.
At the same time,
we
we
had
saw
Immortals of Avium, so maybe not.
Well, not that shape of game. Not everything at that conference.
Yeah, I was like, their shape of game has become like story-focused third-person action open world. And a lot of what we got was CG trailer for a competitive shooter that we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
And like, I don't...
Right?
That's not even the same box. That's the new box. It's proven to fail horribly a lot of times unless you're like the guy.
Honestly,
things are different now. Now that you're trapped here because Microsoft is a cuck, we're going to put out all this bullshit. And you have to buy
right
it.
over there. Nintendo's right over there. Look,
Nuh-uh.
I understand Microsoft pretends they don't exist, but you're a real company and you have to pretend they exist. You have to accept they exist.
As I was playing Tears of the Kingdom after the showcase, I just sat there and went, man, Sony's going to start shitting their pants the moment fidelity-wise Nintendo gets anywhere near them remotely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be fucked up. And God, like it
since
really
the-
feels like
Go ahead.
they're 12 fucking upcoming service games. Like Marathon, I think has a pretty good shot. I don't think Fair Games has a fucking shot at all.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the Fair Games. Just looks like
Oh, we
Watch-
did. It was the first thing
yeah,
we talked
yeah.
about.
You
but we
you said
didn't
the name, but
elaborate.
we didn't tell you what it was.
We didn't
at all.
elaborate. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
It's like it's in a genre that already kind of has games in it. I don't think their Watch Dogs-esque aesthetic is gonna like the like we made fun of it for looking too much like Watch Dogs. It's something that's been done already.
Mm-hmm. It also is really disappointing to be like that's from Haven Studio. That's what Jade Raiden was working on.
Let's clarify a bit. It doesn't look like Watch Dogs. It looks like Watch Dogs 3, and it has the tone of Watch Dogs. Like aesthetically, Watch Dogs 1 had a very different visual signature that this does not replicate.
Yes, it
No one is wearing an iconic
It's
hat.
Watch Dogs 2 and 3 because in 2 they
Yeah.
started
Yeah,
having
2.
here's our
Uh-huh.
hacker group with the LED mask, and there's even a guy with that in that trailer for Fair Games.
Yeah, so I don't know. I have no reason to have any interest or like I'm just glad it's out in the light, but that's not a plus for this conference.
no, not at all.
I already knew that was coming. Everyone did. So anyway, they said there will be no single player component in the new Marathon, according to chat.
That's not surprising.
No, it's not, but it's still frustrating.
It's an MMO now. Fully online. No single player. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I'd be hype about this Haven thing. That trailer did nothing for me.
Yeah, that was one of the studios I was convinced was working on another big open world Sony thing. And instead we find out, oh, it's a 3v3 heist game of some sort. I'm like, oh, that's what you were doing?
What a weird
Is that
thing.
what all of you are doing? I'm horrified.
What a weird thing to get caught up on too, because Payday's been out forever.
I know, right?
You don't even know if people are still interested in Payday. Sony seems to be falling into a trap that I've heard described on Twitter very well, where it's like games are so large that you can greenlight a project, get the studio on it, start working on it for something like 4 to 5, maybe even 6 years. And by the time it comes out, the market trend will have changed so much that you better hope that what you made is a great fucking game, because as a boilerplate response, people might just not even care. Because that genre or subgenre will be done to death by then.
Yeah.
Or everyone
Yeah,
will be
like,
exhausted of the trappings. You know, like when a bad Dark Souls knockoff comes out and everyone says, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, maybe that's a good reason for Sony to stick to the shit that's been successful for them already, these polished single player experiences, and build out from there, perhaps into other genres and aesthetics, perhaps with old IPs they own that people would be interested in.
No,
Instead
I
of
think we're gonna
making
pivot
12
into
live
cloud
service
gaming.
games.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like cloud gaming if you got a screen on your controller and you're playing from a different room, right? You have your own tiny cloud. Here's the things that could have shown up that everyone like groused about, like, oh, this better not happen. That would have been better. The Last of Us multiplayer, the
Yep.
Twisted Metal show, and the Twisted Metal game.
The game, yes, the show would have been like.
I don't know. That would have been funny. That would have been like, haha,
But
this
yeah.
is great.
This show committed the cardinal sin, in my opinion, of one of these shows, which is you had a game that was logo nothing. Fuck you. Fuck.
Yeah, Concord
That
is
isn't anything.
Yeah.
Go
They should
fuck
know better.
yourself. What was the point? What was the fucking point? It was already over an hour. Did you need 30 seconds of that badly? Like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna I will just be annoyed when it shows up again now.
It's okay. You may not even realize it's that game.
Not until the end of it when they show the logo again.
Because they didn't show us any gameplay. So at a certain eye level, right, you might not be able to connect the dots. It is truly fucking. This is the worst conference I think Sony's done in a very long time.
Yeah, the presentation on all angles is bad too. Of just like, we have Jim Ryan out here twice. He's in a black room. He's very unenthusiastic, and then the rest of it's like just shows you some letters or some symbols.
Normally we get to talk to people from Naughty Dog, Insomniac. Like, remember when they showed off Spider-Man and we got, enthusiastic Spider-Man fan who's director of game to talk about Spider-Man, and this time it's nothing.
Yeah.
This is so bad that I saw journalists being like, this is why they need to let journalists cover the show and talk to the people who make these games. And I'm like, oh shit, they're right. Because then they'll ask questions about the game and have anything to talk about. All those games, all those trailers feel like they're sliding off of a non-stick pan right now. Because most of them didn't have gameplay.
Yeah.
And those that did, wait, God, Christ, how many of the... I wish I went through and counted how many even had gameplay, because it's a real minority case.
Yeah, as far as new announcements, we got
just it all. Even
I know,
like
right?
Fuck Street Fighter 6 and Final Fantasy. That shouldn't count. They're coming out
within 2 weeks or so.
Within a few weeks.
But yeah, we got to see Dragon's Dogma gameplay. Then a few of the smaller things. It's like
we got Spider-Man, Dragon's Dogma.
This whole conference was it was 3 state of plays stitched together.
But bad state of plays. Like, this is so much worse than
mid to D. Like this game, like having the Concord thing there, just logo, nothing was bad. This show, if you think back to all the really terrible conferences we've seen, it didn't commit a lot of the heinous sins.
Right.
And I'm tempted to grade a Sony conference on a curve and be like, well, it's Sony, they know better.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
So I mean, like this conference, it was out of context, was mid. The fact that this is Sony's 2023 summer showcase, this was bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, this is all correct.
They could have not done it, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, if we waited a few more months and there was something to like really make us pop off, like, you did a state of play to show Spider-Man.
Yeah. Like if they just been like, hey guys, we're not going to do a summer thing, we'll do a state of play for Spider-Man closer to its release. Goodbye.
I mean,
I'd have been like, oh, but that would have been better on the cosmic sense.
Like, guys,
after being radio silent for this long, this is what you come back with.
Like, guys, we don't know what's coming out next year for PlayStation. Anything. Nothing from PlayStation had a 2024 date.
Yeah.
Most of it didn't have a year.
Yeah. Yeah, there was so much just not dated here.
But we get Helldivers later this year.
Great.
Might be. I don't know. I don't have, like, that fucking trailer didn't tell me whether or not it'll be good. So yeah, that's that. Hey, Aggro, do you have a letter score for this?
Like I want to put this in context because I'm gonna give it a C. But like I'm gonna give it a C. Like, shout out to all the gifted kids in chat. Whoever got called to the teacher's desk to be handed back a test with a C on it, just so they could look at you with that very personalized disappointment. Like, this is a C, but like, you can do better.
Yeah.
This C is some bullshit.
Right.
That's true. That's true. So, anyway, that was it for Big Think this week. We're done. We're free. Stop looking into my past. Hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
I hear we're playing video games tomorrow.
Allegedly.
We are allegedly playing a video game. You may have heard of it. It's called let me pull up my document here. Pikmin 2?
Whoa.
What? Why is Bob Mugman?
Bob, why are you Mugman?
I don't know, man.
Have you considered not being Mugman?
Is this some sort of giant enemy crab?
It seems to be.
It seems lobstery, yeah. Like, I don't know. I'm a little scared.
I mean, considering Pikmin, he's a regular size enemy crab.
And we're just tiny.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Well, that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. And allegedly, we're beating it during the same stream.
Yeah, allegedly. This 20-hour game, allegedly.
Allegedly. Dr. Aggro, what are you up to in the next week?
I'm heading east into Akala and Hateno Village.
Nice. Yeah, I need to get back to Kingdom. Chris, what do you got going on in the next week?
I'll probably stream some fucking Inti Creates game. I really don't think I'm going to go right into Advent.
Hey, Bob, good news.
Yeah, what's up?
Pikmin 2's 12 hours according to How Long to Beat.
Thank God.
We got this. People are going to get mad if we don't do the full 21 hours. It is like, no.
I'm sorry, Pikmin. You are not the Legend of Zelda.
It's a real shame they launched Pikmin 2 right next to Tears of the Kingdom.
I know there might have been some confusion. Maybe Pikmin was as big a series as Legend of Zelda, and we need to see all the important story details.
There's a Korok at the top of a mountain, and his friend was at the bottom, and I just rolled him like the baby in fucking Kung Pao. It was so good. I'm looking forward to Chris playing some Inti Creates games while I watch and play Tears of the Kingdom. Well, that's going to do it for Big Thing Dimension. See you all next week. Oh, wait, tomorrow. Goodbye. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Big Think Dimension. Big Think Dimension is only possible because of your support over at patreon.com/gbpodcast, where you can get access to various shows basically a month early, like Pokemon Go to the Movies and Chugging Bleach. Also get access to the movie Isolation 119 and a lot of other stuff. Commentary tracks, over 70 of them. Please go check it out. Help support this as a bad career move that will upset and disappoint my mother.